Battery situation looking.
Have full power, Captain.
Warp speed. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Wow, that's loud. Calm down, Paul. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you all for coming to our Township Board work session. Could we have a roll call, please, Clerk Pern?
Certainly. Supervisor Bertrand.
I am here.
Treasurer Huff.
Here.
Trustee Monet.
Here.
Trustee Detmer.
Here.
And Clerk Pern is here.
Okay, we have quite a loaded agenda and even some additions, along with interviews for the full-time fire chief. But first, we'll start with board comments. If anybody on the board has anything they want to say before we get into this, now would be the time to do it.
I'd like to see the board look into a basic septic ordinance, something that like the state, our state doesn't have it, something that a lot of the local things have, just basic, certain things, and just get it done in a meeting or two. It doesn't have to go through all of this stuff that we got to go through, just a basic septic ordinance and go with that. I hope it'll be something that's going to be on our list of things to do here shortly.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the board?
Anyone else before I chime in? Anyone? Good afternoon. Thank you for being here.
You have to back away or it'll muddle up
okay.
on the recording.
I'm going to make a very personal comment here today, and it is just my opinion, but I'm just saying it because I want it on record. So as of late, there are some things that have been happening, as you're all aware, due to a recall action of our supervisor. And once again, from a very personal perspective, and you all knew I do my research, I will not condemn or condone Supervisor Bertrand's actions, but I do have an opinion, of course, and here it is. Under Michigan law, a township supervisor should generally avoid discussing personal recall efforts during board meetings to maintain compliance with the Michigan Opens Meeting Act and avoid conflicts of interest. The legal constraints and governance issues are the Opens Meeting Act. Township board meetings are legally designated for conducting official public business, not as a forum to debate political campaigns or personal grievances. The supervisor's statutory role as chair is to manage the agenda and maintain order. Using township time, staff, and public facilities to defend against a personal recall can be challenged as an improper use of public resources because it does not serve a public purpose. It is for a personal reason. Michigan election law outlines a specific statutory process for challenging recall language. If a legal challenge or appeal regarding recall petition clarity ends up in front of the county election committee or circuit court, the supervisor should handle these matters strictly in an individual candidate capacity outside of official board meetings, once again, because it does not serve a public purpose. Under permitted exceptions, if the township board is required to take an official, legally necessary vote directly tied to the recall of any board member, such as certifying a special election date or appropriating specific public funds required by law for an election, the board must address the item on the agenda. At the end of the day, if the supervisor must address a recall, it should be done strictly in a personal or campaign capacity and separated entirely from official township business. The communication should ideally occur during designated public public comment periods, and I have checked that is legally acceptable if you're on the board to remove yourself from this table and go make a comment under public comments, just as any other citizen would, rather than during the supervisor's official report or board deliberation time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other board members? Okay. Hearing none, we will close the board comments. And this will move us to the approval of the meeting agenda with additions or modifications. I had initially done this somewhat stripped down. Then there were some additions. My rationale was I'm not really sure how the interview process for the full-time fire chief will go as far as time constraints. So the original agenda as is over on the table there has, I believe, 7 items, and then number 8 is the full-time fire chief interviews, and number 9 is a possible decision by the board for which 2 applicants will move forward in the hiring process. The additions to the agenda that were suggested, I can go over now. I had hoped if there are dead spots, maybe we can plug some of these in. Just going to have to play it by ear. The additions would be, and I will list them for the sake of
Do you want me to list them since they're mine?
No, I have them. I think it's best, right now we have 7, 8, 9. I think it's best to put them after 7 as 7, A, B, C, D, E, and then if we get time in between, we can plug them in and see how it goes.
So there lies a problem. I wanted these on the agenda from the get-go. And now it's, well, we'll see if we can get them in. No, I've got every right to add what I want to this agenda, and we discussed that. So I don't know why.
I understand. I'm probably not being clear. I'm saying that if we add them to the agenda and we vote that they are modifications, then they will get done today. It's when they get done that I'd like to be a little flexible with, if in between 2 interviews, if somebody doesn't show up, if before the interviews we got time, start plugging these things in. But by the end of the day, if we add them to the agenda, we will be talking about it. If that is a little clearer, I just don't know what the numbering. I'm suggesting we put them 7, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And we'll get to them. Maybe we got a time we can sneak 1 or 2 in. We'll see. But yes, by the end of today, they're on the agenda. We need to talk about them. Does that make it any clearer or not? Or
Yeah, that clears it up.
okay, so for 7A would be a discussion on an email from the zoning administrator, and that's got to do with pay. 7B would be the county special assessment district bill for what is commonly called the lake, the dam lake dam. 7C would be a raise for, or discussing a raise for our maintenance supervisor. 7D would be an appointment of Kevin Hops to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board. 7E would be potential hire of Joshua, appears to be Schneider,
Yes,
to the maintenance department.
strike that one. We don't need to add that.
Then 7E would be LiDAR data that Fleece and Vanderbrink, and I'm going to take this opportunity to say Fleece and Vandals, gathered on the sewer project. So that would be 7, A, B, C, D, and E as additions to the agenda as it was posted and is on the table.
Again?
Uh, Discussing the county special
Oh, that's right.
assessment district bill.
Again.
So other than those additions that I would have, are there any other ones from the board that they would want to suggest that we do today?
Yes. I'd like a open discussion on why we are having another public hearing for the short-term rental ordinance when we already had a public hearing per attorney advice. We had a legally posted and conducted meeting. We took a vote, so I don't understand why there has to be a waste of time and resources to have another hearing next week.
Okay, I have that as number 7F. Is that looking good to you? Ringing a bell there? Okay. Any other additions suggested by the board members? Okay, hearing none, I would make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda with the modifications 7A through 7F as stated. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any discussion from the board on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the modifications to the existing agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. And that motion carries 5-0. That gets us to the agenda. Number 1 is discuss and approve the new Roscommon County Road Commission agreement for local road improvements. I have that thing here, I don't know, 80 some pages. I'm going to say the same for me before I turn this into a motion. Well, no, we'll do the motion. I'll make a motion that we approve and sign the new Roscommon County Road Commission agreement. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so discussion. When I first took office, I went to the road commission and reviewed their plans for how they do road maintenance. I've worked road construction and maintenance for the Forest Service and the DNR. I am 100% satisfied with the plan they have. Every road is in a rotational schedule. As far as not surveying, as far as observing it, keeping up with it when it's scheduled for work. Why the work gets done the way it gets done, I'm okay with everything that they're doing. The additions would be that if residents were complaining about a certain road, that we as a township board could certainly look into adding it to what their schedule currently is. When I took office, there was one road in question, and I pursued adding it, and they said, we already got it. Okay. Since then, I have not heard a word about anything. So my perception of this is that they're doing a hell of a good job, though there will be incidental times if people are not happy. If they come into office, I will give you Dave Thompson's contact information. He is the foreman for our area. From there, it goes to Roger Saxton. From there to Neil Ballinger. Neil Ballinger is the money tracker. So it sits in front of us for the next year, and we, as we did last year, need to sign it and approve it. I believe it's 25% that we have to match for the amount of money that they put into it based on your taxes. So there's a lot of money in there. We only have to come up with a certain amount. I think we allocated this year again somewhere in the $75,000 range. which has been pretty consistent over the years with what the board will say they will do. Other than that, let's hear board comments on how they think this should go.
I have no problem with the packet they sent us, yeah, last week. It's all pretty standard, but I will add, I want something in that package saying that they will put up no parking signs along Route 27.
Any other comments from the board? I do have some information on that, but
I think first and foremost that would have to come from by a vote of the Board of Commissioners. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But do we have blanket price of what this contract entails? I mean, I know there's a matching, but do we know for the people, for me, for any, like, what does this cost us? I have no idea.
it's right around $75,000 that's allocated in the budget for this fiscal year.
So if that's 25%, then does that mean it's a $300,000 contract?
It's an astronomical amount.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's your taxes at work.
No, I, that's why I'm asking. I
Yeah,
did not know.
it's a booklet they emailed.
It looks like a booklet. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just satisfied in the way that they proceed. I'm okay with that.
Although I will say for the record, I don't understand brining the roads when there's rain in the forecast and then it rains within a couple hours and it washes it all down into the lake. I don't know. I kind of have a problem with it, but that's me.
I can't speak to the brine situation. I do know that it's not like washing it away. There is timing. And I know they consider it down to looking at radar maps, you know,
Yeah.
about when they're applying stuff.
Maybe we should make an ordinance forbidding rain on the roadways.
After brining. Only
Yeah.
after brining. Okay, as far as the road commission and the signs, we've had this discussion. I think it's way more complicated than demanding it. I personally would like to separate that from signing this. I could certainly run a motion and we could vote no based on wanting that added.
I think, I don't know how complicated it could be. I mean, no parking is no parking.
It's real complicated.
Oh,
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before. There's no willingness from the road commission to do this willy-nilly unless there's some demand.
till someone gets hit, you mean?
I have said all of this a year ago. It's that I do not believe we have the ability to force them to do it, nor the DNR. I know you had conversations with the DNR recently.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with the signs.
Right, state police, but the DNR is the culpable person in regards to having the launch be there and the overflow parking and how they manage that. I have no problem trying to pursue it or letting you try and pursue it. I told you before, I've been to meetings with the prosecuting attorney and the other supervisors and everybody involved, and it's all, you're beating a dead horse. But
I even suggested we'll put our own signs, Lyon Township parking signs, and they said, if you do that, we'll just take them down. So,
I bet they did. Anyway, I appreciate what you're saying, and I would, if there's a way to do that, I'm for it. I have not seen one yet, but I don't. You're currently diving into it. If you can find a way, great. Any other comments on this agreement for the road improvement? Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the agreement as written and see if it passes. So I will make a motion to approve the new Roscommon County Road Commission agreement for local road improvements. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
We had you and
Well,
Pops before, and then we had a discussion.
yeah, we had a discussion already. I'm going to just run it that way. You're right. So we had discussion on that. We'll call it end of the discussion, and then roll call vote on approving it as written. Could we have one of those, please, Clerk Pern?
Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Treasurer Hobbs,
No,
Supervisor Burke,
Yes.
Trustee Monet.
No.
Oh, boy.
Who did I miss? Who did we miss?
You're missing me.
Oh,
I think.
oh, I
yes.
see what I did. I
I
crossed
think
it
yes.
out.
Clerk Pern, yes.
Okay. It carries it 3-2. Not to say.
I didn't hear that, but.
Okay, what, if not, say so now before I write it down.
I didn't hear the fifth vote. I'm sorry. From Clerk Pern.
Pardon?
I didn't hear your vote. I
My
didn't.
vote was yes.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yes,
Did
no,
not
yes,
hear it.
no, yes.
Thank you.
I would like to add one thing though. I'm gonna, along with the treasurer, I'm gonna pursue putting our own signs up. If somebody yells about it, great. If that no parking sign prevents one accident, it's well worth it. And we're talking about that stretch about a quarter mile from each side of that, additional parking thing by the West Launch. So, well, okay, but anyways, the package that they set up, that's fine. The signs are a different issue.
Okay, then for the record, because it's not a vote, I am definitely not in favor of us putting signs up on county roads. Period. Okay, so that is a 3-2 pass, and you and I need to sign that before the end of today. Okay, number 2 is to discuss adding access to Lion burn permits and compost tags on the Lion webpage. For the sake of discussion, I'll make the motion and see if we get that far. I will make a motion that we pursue this, asking for an estimate for each, which would be website access to, or excuse me, for burn permits and for compost tags, 2 separate things. They will work on it at a rate of $85 an hour. So do we have a second for that motion? Okay, once more for a second on a motion that we pursue, asking for an estimate for each of those at $85 per hour to work on them. Okay, hearing none, there will be no discussion and vote. Okay, where are we at here? Number 3. You ready for this?
Oh, it's going to be quick so we can move on.
No, I didn't.
Yep.
I know you said you wanted.
Yep, that's fine,
Okay,
yeah.
so number 3 is a discussion on fertilizer setback per trustee
Yeah.
Monet.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to have more information. I'm going to keep it very short today. So after doing my initial research, in 2012, the state of Michigan, under the Environmental Protection Act, and I don't have the statutes with me, but I did research it all, did pass legislation that nobody shall use PTO5, phosphorus in their fertilizer around any waters whatsoever. And there, I think it's a 15-foot or something like that. There are caveats to this. You can get around it that if you have a 3-year soil test, you are allowed to add the amount of fertilizers necessary to keep the grass growing. If you reseed or it's new, you're allowed to add just the adequate that is approved by state. If you keep a 10-foot wide vegetative buffer on the shoreline to soak up extra phosphorus, if you use it at all, you can get it that way. And you can use organic materials like manures and such, but it is in there. I found 3 townships so far that do have setbacks as far as 25 feet. I found another one at 50 feet. It is out there. We do have the right to say, you know, based on statute, for the protection of the waters, that we could impose something. I'm not saying we should at this point. My next phase would be is I want to get some more research into how these townships that I have found, I want to talk to their people about how they actually implemented it, what did they do, and then I will be reaching out to a gentleman I know for what was discussed between Supervisor Bertrand and myself at the last meeting about shoreline testing and other, you know, diving across the water to figure out what's present, not necessarily where it comes from. But it is out there, it is possible, and I'm kind of surprised that, once again, you know, my fight with the state, kind of surprised that if it's out there and this is a state lake, that the state, no one, as far as I know, has ever come to Higgins Lake in its law and says, you know, maybe we should protect this lake. There's a statute on the books, maybe we should do something. Here we, once again, so here we are. So that's all I have for today, thank you.
That was quick.
Yep.
Uh,
There's a lot of territory.
I
to
support
cover.
moving forward and trying to figure out what can be done. And as I already mentioned, there are things that can be
Yep.
done that were claimed you cannot do. So let's find out.
Yep.
Any other discussion from the board on fertilizer setback or what Mr. Monet just shared? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Okay, number 4 is discuss and vote on approval of honor security contract, or honor security, should be quotes, contract to install a new camera for the fish sculpture at Phoenix Park. In your packets, you should have something that has honor security on it. And within that, there are actually 2 different contract proposals, or you should have them both. I can go over those in a minute, but there's a lot of paperwork here. Bear with me while I make sure I have this available. So you already have that. This you don't have. This would be the a statement I got from Honor Security about terms of life on electronic equipment. Did I give you 2?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So for the sake of discussing this, I'm going to make a motion that we approve an installation cost of a new camera from Honor Security. Just that. So there's 2 bids here. Do we have a second on that motion? Okay, I'll state it one more time. Do we have a motion that we approve a contract for installation of a new camera from Honor Security?
I'll second.
Okay. So as far as further discussion, what this is really all about is we have a brand new fish sculpture that was donated. The cost of having it created was donated as part of the water tour for Roscommon County. There's 5 of these fish in different locations in Roscommon County, and the intent was to make it, make them all be photo ops for people who like to kayak and, you know, visit all 5. And so we have the fish sculpture. Then it came down to how do we put it up and where do we put it up? And it was decided that we do it at Phoenix Park in conjunction with Tracy from the Higgins Lake Roscommon Chamber of Commerce, because they're the ones behind all this. We had the location. A problem in that location is that there's not a lot of people at Phoenix Park. Some of these other fish are located so high up in the air you couldn't get to them. Some of them are right out on the corners of main traffic areas where vandalism is not a serious concern. Phoenix Park for us, it was. So it graduated into, we need to get this thing up in the air high enough where the average person who wants to walk around and be stupid can't damage it. That led to Ron from Newcraft Metter, Wilski. Yeah, thank you. Creating a metal framework to hang this fish off of that's in an L shape that we could put up at Phoenix Park to keep it up high enough where nobody could easily vandalize it, and put shrubbery around the base of it so people can't easily think about climbing up to it. And then the third part of that being the security camera at Phoenix Park is on the corner of the park, to move the camera over so that it's directly opposite of where this fish would be, and then put the signs up saying, you know, there's cameras right here. In doing so, Ron finished the metal framework. It got powder coated and returned last week. We're now looking for contractors or whoever can put this thing up. My contention was there's no sense putting this up until we have the camera moved where we have a better location. That led to Amanda, our grant writer, working on a grant contract or a grant for supporting our security. That grant did come through. The initial grant was $2,500. I think we can spend a little less of that. It's a reimbursement grant, so we just can buy whatever we can buy up to that limit and then send it in for reimbursement. That is to purchase a new camera to improve our security. Where we're at right now then is that there are two contracts. One of them is to move the existing camera from the corner that it's on at Phoenix Park more towards dead center, looking right straight at the fish. And of the two contracts you have, and both of these involve us putting the post in and running the conduit, but that contract is $965 to move the existing camera. That does not mean we're purchasing a new camera, so the grant money cannot be used for that. The other bid contract is to purchase the new camera and mount it. Same stipulation where we put the post in and the conduit. But to mount it, and that contract is $4,346. Now the cost of the camera, you could estimate somewhere between $1,200 to $1,500 for a new one. The other letter that I just handed out, I hope this is the right one, was a $2,250 that we were awarded. Since then, the contractor, Honest Security, and this is what really got my attention, advised me that the old camera has, you know, all this tech stuff has a length of life. You guys remember when the server went to hell on us after 6 years? It's just something that happens. So the way that I'm looking at this now, we can use the grant money to defray the cost. So from the $4,346, if you subtract the grant money, you're somewhere, and don't quote me, but you're somewhere around $2,000 of township costs with a 5 to 7 year life expectancy on a new camera. If we just move the old one, we have the $900, $965 involved in moving it. We would not be able to use the contract cost or the grant money. If the camera were to go out in the future, the older one, you're looking at pushing $1,500 and another $750 to put it in, to put a new one in if the old one goes out. So I know that's a lengthy explanation, but the one contract covers we get a new camera with a good life expectancy. And the other one is we use the old one, costs us less, but we may pay in the long run. So for the sake of discussion, that's where it's at, between the two. Is there any other discussion then from the board, or if I left something out, ask me? But that's how we got here, and that's where we're at right now, and I do not want to put that fish up until we have a good security system. Anybody else?
How much was that powder? The powders?
$500.
Yeah.
500?
So my opinion on this one is, for something we got for free is gonna end up costing us $3,000 at least, if we go this route, because we still gotta factor in putting the pole up.
You are correct, sir. Free is
Well-
never free.
I don't even know what you're talking about because both of my quotes are expired as of February, so I don't even know what's on the table as far as,
He redid them, so they're current.
oh, well, I don't have that, so I'm going blind.
No, you're not going blind. That is the redone method, but the data's old.
Mine says $995, $4, not 4,000.
There's two.
I have two of them right
Page
here.
2 on the ones that
Two.
3.
You have-
965.
you have a 2-page and
Yeah.
a 3-page.
What 3-page?
You should have.
I don't know, my opinion is just move the existing one.
Oh, yours is 3?
If we gotta have,
There's two separate.
Oh,
We gotta have a
mine
camera.
says 1 of 2,
Right.
so,
That's one of two
Only
pages.
Wi-Fi, yeah,
That is
we
a
got
separate.
guarantee it's gonna
yeah, I
last.
didn't get this.
it's a freaking steel
Sorry about
statue.
that.
That's all right.
Real?
It's gonna be, how high up in the air is it gonna be?
We don't know that yet.
Like 20 feet?
No, the actual determination, I think the mounting bracket itself is probably pushing 13 feet and in two sections, but you have to assume, now, don't quote me on that. It's in two sections and there'll be a plate on the bottom. And once you set it on the ground, we will be able to estimate where the fish comes out and where it's hanging in relation to the horizon and a photo op. So it could be adjusted a foot higher, a foot lower. The fish itself, I think, is going to end up hanging where the bottom of the fish would be around the 9-foot range. This is one of those, you're going to have to go out there and dry fit it and see what's going on. That will determine how much of it gets in the ground with the plates and the rebar, and then throw the concrete down. If that answered anything. Any other discussion from the board? And I'll run it as a motion for one and then the other. Okay, here none. Make sure I got this right. Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the installation cost of a new camera from Honor Security at a cost of $4,346 and some change, which should be reduced by a grant of $2,250. Do we have a second on that motion? Once again, a second for that motion. Okay, that does not move forward. Secondly, I'd make a motion that we approve the installation cost of moving the old camera from Honor Security at a cost of $965.55, and the grant money would not be applied. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Pern. Any further discussion or any discussion from the board? For me, both will work, but it's got to happen before we stick the fish in the ground. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll end it. So on the motion that we improve the installation cost of moving the old camera by Honor Security at a cost of $965.55. Could we have a roll call, please, Clerk Byrne?
Sure. Good turn, yes. Treasurer Hop,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
Yay.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
trustee Detmer,
Yes.
supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, motion carries 5-0. 1 o'clock. First interview is 1:15.
Yeah. I got 4 or 5
Get
minutes.
rid of this stuff. Sign. You got 4 or 5 minutes, did you say?
Yep.
I can't see that.
5
in the
minutes.
Glare.
Yep. Yeah.
Number 5 is going to take more than 5 minutes, at least on my part.
Well, it's break time. Everyone, let's go have a cocktail. We'll be back here in 4 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, we can, if it is okay with the board, I would ask the board that we can jump to number 6, because this one is pretty quick.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Number 6 is Cherry Capital Communication, BEAD, capital BEAD funding. Get this straight. For broadband. So I got an email. Apparently there's some money flying around to approve broadband. You should have a letter on this. Okay. My only function today was to bring it to the board and pursue it, but I would like to assign Pam to chase this down and see whether it's another thinly disguised sell us something, or if these are truly grants and it benefits the township. You have the letter. I would make a motion that we pursue this with Pam taking the lead. Do we have a second?
No second.
Okay. Any further discussion from the board?
Other than her time in, pay involved, there's no money involved with this, correct? This is just investigative work?
Assigning her to put her due diligence into.
Well, yeah,
figuring
right,
this
right,
out.
but this,
There's
but
no
it,
money involved.
there's no money involved. Okay, very good.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion. All those in favor of pursuing this Charity Capital Communications funding for broadband with Pam taking the lead, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same. Okay, there you go, Pam. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're not around, eh? Okay, so we are probably real close to the starting of an interview.
Yeah.
Let me get my ducks in a row here. A, B, C, D, E, F. What's our exact time? Right on the money. So we have, am I correct, Mr. Steve Fay is first. These interviews are built into the agenda. We don't have to stop anything. We will just keep going forward.
Okay.
Yeah, get the hot seat. Yeah.
Okay. Let me, for those who may not know, We are hiring, or looking to hire a full-time fire chief. We have 4 candidates here today, or should have. And is our intention to hopefully weed it down to 2 candidates moving forward. And Mr. Fay is here today to answer any questions from the board, clarify anything. I have a couple of questions, but that's where we're at. So if anybody wants to start on the board, you go right ahead.
I've got one question. Currently, do we have a radius, for accepting applicants, volunteers, like a mile radius?
We want them within 5 miles of the township line.
Okay.
And if they would exceed that, we'd.
So we could
whoever they're
exceed,
closer to.
we can exceed, like, you would be open to exceeding it? If
We'd have to
need,
look
if
at
need
it.
be.
We'd have to look at it.
Okay,
If they're more than 5 miles, that are possibly going to be better served at another department that's closer to them.
okay. I was just curious, because I know sometimes there's some people that are 6 miles out who are interested, you know? So I just,
I'd be curious to see what the other chiefs in the area are doing and
good,
You're talking about recruits?
yeah,
Oh, okay. I wanted to put straight on it.
that's all I had.
Well, I got a few for you, Steve.
all right.
If appointed, are you prepared to appoint an EMS coordinator / administrator to present to the board?
I would like to look at Tony, who's on the board.
Okay, I wasn't asking names,
Oh.
but you were.
Yes,
Okay, fine. Are you ready to begin a recruitment program immediately to put us back as a money-generating trend rather than continue to pay others for service when we can't respond?
yep, I would be,
Yes, and I thought I read that in your resume as well. Are you willing to work with us on a suitable salary and benefits package?
yes,
Can you totally commit to getting us up and running with an eye towards updating equipment, schooling, training, and vehicle maintenance? In particular, SCBA update, turnout gears, this kind of stuff. Going to take some in-depth mystery trip for you there, but I just want to make sure you know where you're going,
yeah, they're
where the budget allows anyway.
correct.
All right, thank you.
Is that all, Clerk Fern?
That's it?
Well, Steve, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You
And- Well, I do.
know.
Well, I've gone through all these resumes. You have an excellent resume. You got a lot of diversified work history. No question about that. I see that you submitted a recruitment strategy.
Correct.
We did, on short notice, ask for 2 letters of recommendation from previous bosses. So far, I don't think we got anybody that did, but did you hand him something that was,
No,
I gave him my references. I've been at my
okay,
current job for 25 years and they don't do letters of recommendation, so he'd be going
Okay.
back quite a long ways to be irrelevant.
and as far as I'm concerned, everybody who's applying for this job is probably qualified. The degrees of qualification differ, but I have some different questions.
Sure.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I've been at Consumers Energy for a little over 25 years now. Been on the fire department downstate in Marshall, Michigan for about 4 or 5 years, and then back up here about the last 5 years, been on the department. Led high-performing teams at work, and they're very sustainable. When I've moved on, they've maintained. I think my leadership skills would contribute well to this. Live here in the community, been up here for the past five or so years, full-time. Been up here about 12 or so prior to that.
Okay. What do you think your biggest weaknesses are?
there's a lot to learn. I probably don't know what I don't know. So I would consider that a weakness.
Thank you. Why should we hire you?
Being on the department for the past 5 years, understand the team and the dynamics of everybody. Been pushing to get some recruiting done, build the department, enjoy being part of the community and, part of the township. So I would call myself a servant leader as far as wanting to do the best for the people and the team there at the department. So I think there's plenty of opportunity there to move it along.
Okay. Don't mind me, I'm writing things for myself. It's not like I'm grading anything here. Okay, not last, why'd you leave your last job?
I am currently still working, so I intend to retire after the first of the year.
And you've been there for how long?
A little over 25 years.
And I don't know what other questions, but I would give you the opportunity if there's anything else you want to say it.
I think it relates to it, but at Consumers, I've been part of the incident command structure for our storm response. So I've been an incident commander since 2018, managing statewide storms, ice storms, wind storms, whatever may come about. So I've done that and mentored others in that. So I've got a pretty good understanding of the ICS structure, command, general staff, how those roles play out. Looking forward to getting involved more in the fire department side of things from that ICS structure, which I just haven't been afforded the opportunity as of yet, so.
And one last question, if we make it to the end of this, then Jeanette's gonna let you do this?
Very supportive, yeah.
Just checking,
Yep.
just checking.
That's all I have, Steve. I
right.
haven't heard from a couple people here. We'll see.
To be a fireman and stuff like that, you have to get certificates and stuff like that. So are your certificates all up to date and that kind of thing?
That is correct. I've got my firefighter 1 and 2. Those are current. And then I have my medical first responder EMS certificate.
How often do those have to be renewed?
You certify that you've maintained your training for the fire training, and then the EMS, I think is 2 or 3 years.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Steve.
Tim.
How are you? I have one question, and I want you to be brutally honest because that's the only way I roll.
Sure.
Since your involvement with Lyon Township, and we know what's transpired with the fire department in the last, we'll say, 2-3 years, we know what's happened with calls being missed. What do you see as the biggest single flaw of why it has been so defunct for so long?
If you're referring to staff as far as
I'm not,
people, I
I'm
would
talking
say that's default. Right.
as a whole. Is it administrative? Is it money? Is it people don't understand the budget? Is it lack of interest? Is it, I don't care what it is.
I think there's been a little bit of communication issues between the previous fire chief and the board here. I don't know what that all amounts to. There's
Sure.
that.
Yep, it's fair.
Our recruiting, we have to get out there and recruit, whether it supports us or another township. We need to get the word out there and get folks in here. We need to
Yeah.
train like we fight. We need to support the community. We just have to be there. Several people on the department, some have jobs, some don't. Like, it's a volunteer fire department. We have to understand who we have, what we have, leave the egos at home and do our job and build that team work with ourselves and you folks and make things happen.
So sorry, follow-up question.
That's
The
fine.
only one.
From you, I'm
Yeah,
so
well,
surprised.
I thought it was the one, but then you mentioned a word, it just made me think. Do you feel, I kind of do, and I've heard other people say this as well, do you feel the days of a volunteer fire department are in the past? People need to support their families, groceries, food, everything has gone up so exponentially in the last couple of years. there are very few people that I know of that could just give up their time and not have any kind of, other than a run compensation. And I think it's fair because I've heard this from others. It's like, it's just not feasible anymore.
I don't think that's true. I think you need enough staff, right? And I think a lot of people that do the volunteer
Yeah.
fire department do it for the love of doing it, not for the
Oh, yeah,
compensation.
yeah.
It's not necessarily about that, but it's giving back to the community and building that network. And could it be bigger and better? Sure. If you're going to pay somebody a living wage in a rural community, you're going to expand that. I don't think the community could support that, but I, don't know the data behind that either.
Right,
But,
right.
I think the
Yeah.
majority of the folks do it because the love of doing it. It's not to get a paycheck.
Yeah. I'm done. Thank you.
I just got one more thing to add. So I did a little checking up to say. So I talked to all the current volunteers and the assistant chief just to get an opinion, and they said they all back you 100%. So I just wanted to add that in there as well.
And I would say I've done a lot of soul searching and thinking about it. It's not something that I can do by myself. I need that team and, the support of the rest of the group, and, we need to do it together. It's not a
Absolutely.
one-person show,
It's a team effort.
100%.
I don't have anything else. If anybody else, okay. Well, thanks for your interest. Thanks for your service. And we'll see where we're going.
If you have any other questions or something else comes up, you know how to get hold of me. Thank you, Al.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks a lot. So how much time we got?
Well, we got another 8 minutes. Is that enough time for you? Jamie?
Well, let me see. Where I even put it. I need a
1:30.
bigger.
We can just go on to the next one.
Well, hang on a minute.
I don't see him here.
It says zoning
The minute?
administrator, salaried employees, not permitted. Who is next on the list?
Matt,
Okay, just let me double check. There isn't something else we can sneak in here right now.
Sneak in that,
Richard?
No, the LiDAR.
yeah, do that.
All right, if it's all right with the board, we will jump to what I believe. Did you write all that down? 7 what was the LiDAR?
Just a minute.
D,
I got it here. 7
7A
ABCDE.
zoning.
7E was LiDAR data that Fleece and Vandenbrink gathered on a sewer project. If you want to go quick, Mr. Hobbs.
yeah, so
throw
I
that
just,
out there.
I just added this. And I know absolutely nothing about this. I was hoping trustee Monet might have some input on this. But I was asked by some residents if I could look into this and see if this was ever done. And if the township's paid for it, where's the report? So like I said, I don't know really anything about it, but I said I would bring it up to the board, and hopefully, I thought this might be up Mr. Monet's alley, so.
I don't even know what LiDAR is.
Well,
It was a report.
this is
I've read the reports, but
Fleece and Vandals thing from GLUA.
yeah.
So did they,
LiDAR is aerial reconnaissance to determine.
they were doing a
areas.
survey. They're supposed to do a survey. And I don't know, did they do it? And if they did, is there results for it? The townships received or?
I mean, I can certainly look into it. I do not remember that right off the top of my head because that goes back. That's quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
I was just
sure,
asked to
I
bring
can
it
look.
up
Yeah.
and I said, all right, I'll do it. But I don't know if,
The only thing I know is that there was a lot of discussion about using LiDAR to determine elevations and where the sewer would go and how it would need to be designed. in relation to that.
Yeah, I guess their point was they thought it was, a survey was paid for to that firm and there was no results published. So like I said, I don't know if it was done, who did it, but that's why I just wanted to know, see if anybody knew anything about it or,
Well, we'd have to go back to glue on that, I'm sure.
yeah.
Or the former glue, excuse me.
I know who made this request of you, and I'm gonna suggest that possibly he knows more than we do. If
Well,
you
I don't
get
think
back
he
to-
would have requested it if he
He
knew
wants us,
more.
okay, I'm just saying, GLUA as an entity does no longer exist.
Yeah.
Police and Vandals, and that is FLEECE, and Vandals is currently there, if somebody wanted to pursue them on information. Okay, it was on the agenda. Where do you want to go with it? Anywhere in particular, or?
Well, if nobody knows anything about it,
Like I said, I can reach out, that's the most I can do, and see if anyone out there that I.
that'd be perfect.
Connections that has any information about that. And I've saved 5 years worth of stuff based on Glua, before former Glua, so I may
Okay.
even have it somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be great. I just told him I'd follow up, so
Sure, all right.
that's it.
Yep.
Okay, jumping back into interviews. I see that Matt is here, and you're telling me he's next, right?
Yes.
Well, why don't you come on up in the hot seat, Matt? Well, okay, so here. We have 4 people we're interviewing. Me personally, all of the applicants have credentials to varying degrees. I've looked all of your stuff over, and you're certainly in the ballpark as far as I'm concerned, but all of you are to a certain extent. One question was that in a late notice, there was a request for possibly 2 letters of recommendation from previous bosses. Did you manage to get anything?
I
So
have
far,
one.
we have not got
I
any.
have one. I got from Chief Hertzberg down in Richfield. I did reach out to their corporation, HR. They did not get back.
Okay. Well, that's good. You're one ahead of everybody else so far.
I'm an overachiever sometimes.
Yeah.
I thought Steve would give you,
Not letters of recommendation or just people to call.
references.
I don't want to share this while we're doing the interview. It's enough to say that you managed to get one, and I'm sure it's something we should look at before we make a decision. So I'm going to set that off to the side for right now. So I have a set amount of questions I'm going to ask. I have looked through everything you have here. I appreciate that you submitted a plan, a strategic plan. I know you have a lot of certs. I especially appreciated that you have in your plan how to gauge success. These are things that I look for. Other than that, I have a couple of other questions I'm going to ask, but I just would turn it over to the board. They've all had your application. And if they have any questions, they can put them out there right now.
I got one.
Okay.
Very first one, is this going?
Nope. State law says that I don't have to, if I can't get a seal with my pack, I can't go in and fight fires. I've had, over the years, I've had it for my entire career. I've never had trouble getting a seal with my SCBA. But again, if it does have an issue, then it states that I just cannot go in and fight interior attack.
Okay.
Are you talking about-
However.
I have no
I
idea
will
what you're
review
talking
the
about.
I will review the SOPs and see what they say for Lyon Township.
Are you talking about shorts?
No, my goatee.
Goatee.
Oh my God, I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's,
Wow, okay.
And in my previous years, it was twice as long, and I didn't have a trouble getting a seal with my SCBA.
I know
That's
there's-
one I didn't expect.
No,
Yeah.
I'm like, seal, we don't have a seal.
So in your write-up here, you think the chief needs to work at least 40 hours a week with a salary of between $55,000 and $60,000, 4 weeks vacation, and 1 year to determine if you need an EMS director, plus health insurance and 401k and all that.
I said we could discuss that. I didn't
I,
expect that.
do you not think that might be a heavy lift?
Could be,
Okay.
it could be, but from things that I've heard about the department and not knowing a whole lot that I've never been in there, I don't know what I potentially could be walking into. I've heard multiple comments about recruitment. That doesn't happen by working 1 to 2 days a week. You have to get out there, engage the community, and see what kind of potential recruits you do have. And I believe that can't be done just working 1 or 2 days a week. All that I put in there is negotiable. It was just,
That was your opinion on it.
yes, I just put that in there as a starting point. Again, it's nothing, it doesn't have to be set in stone. That's all things that can be discussed.
All right, and then have you ever volunteered for Lyon?
No,
Never?
no,
You live in Lyon?
I do.
How long have you lived in Lyon?
4 years,
4 years?
I believe.
That's all I got. Thank you.
You.
One thing I didn't say before, and I probably should, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Clerk Pern, but you sent out something to all the candidates asking them for an estimate or their feelings on wage, benefits, and hours?
No.
Okay. What did you ask them to respond on?
Well, I'd have to go back and look at the letters right now, but I said, if we could work out something with a package of benefits and including the salary. I was not specific. I just let them know that we passed a motion to look into a 30-hour week at $35,000 to start.
I'm talking about previous to that motion.
I think I just asked for
Our-
references and stuff.
Yeah,
from the other
The
side.
minutes from our last meeting was
Yeah, but that's.
30 hours, 35,000.
Yeah, I'm talking previous to that.
I'll have to look, but the one that came through with the most information is certainly Matt. He had tons of stuff that he offered.
Okay,
I'll have to look it up.
yeah, just for the sake of consistency, I think everything that you did, you asked everyone about.
They were all the same.
Okay.
They went out.
There
Email.
there may have been things about hours and wage in the initial request, and that's fine. And if that's what was submitted by these people, that's fine too.
Well,
I did not say anything about that previously, and I should. If we requested information and got it, great.
I'll certainly look it up when we're done with the meeting and see if I can answer your question. But everybody got the same thing. All of the 6 candidates, and they got it the next day after we talked about it. Okay. All right, if it's my turn then, Matt, are you ready to begin a recruitment program immediately? It'll take you a few minutes.
Well, yeah, it's gonna take time, but yeah, I have some ideas.
Okay. And put us back on a money generating trend rather than continue to pay others for
Correct.
the service that we do. Are you willing to work with us on a suitable salary and benefits package? You've already said yes to that, okay. Can you totally commit to getting up and running with an eye towards updating equipment that's needed?
Yep.
Schooling, ongoing training, and vehicle maintenance.
Correct. Yep.
All right. No, I think that's, are you willing to update your EMS situation?
Yes, I've already
at the
started
bank?
researching
You've already
that, to
started.
look into that, to relicensing as an EMT.
You
Yes.
did promise you'd do
I
that,
did.
and I said, I'm
Yep.
holding you to it, so thank you.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, done.
I'll do my one question, same as everyone else. And as I said to the others too, everyone knows I roll this way. I want you to be as brutally honest as possible, and I think you will, and I like that. And from what you've seen in this township, what do you feel moving forward is the biggest flaw of why this fire department and EMS has been so defunct for the last 3
The
years?
biggest flaw,
Flaw.
I haven't been in the department.
No, I know
so
you
can
haven't,
say
but from a
obviously-
resident,
Obviously,
yeah.
you can see the community as a retirement community. You are gonna have people aging, you know, where they might not get on the department, there may be less interest for the younger generation. That would go to going into the schools, talking with them. One of my big things is being very community oriented. So I would, you know, drive around, go to all the businesses, go to North State Park, talk to people. With that being said, though, the older generation, Mr. Williams is in the crowd today, and I talked to him the other day. Even though he may physically not be able to be a firefighter anymore, the knowledge he has up there is something that's priceless. And I would go around and talk to people that have been on the department. My father-in-law was on the department, was a chief. The knowledge that they may have to help me in any situation, but recruiting is gonna be a big thing, and you have to go see. And I believe that you have people here, moved up here from, like Mr. Pern,
Yeah.
from a big department, Detroit, that may still want to be on. They've retired from there, but are still capable. I would look into
Yeah.
that, and I would look into the schools and look at different things to help recruit it.
Yeah. Cool, thank you.
Yes.
So are your licenses, you're working on the EMT license, but are all your other certificates and licenses up to date?
Yes, those don't expire. For firefighter, they don't expire, and I have all the fire officer classes and all the training needed. I do know, I think I talked to Chief Gilliam, they've included instructor, I think, started this year, so I would have to go get instructor, but that's new, so.
So, but you still have to have update training, correct?
Yeah, you do CEs, you do current stuff, all things, yes. So I would have to update on some things like emergency driving I haven't done for a couple years and different things like that, and fit testing for the SCBA. Those I would have to update, yes. All the annual requirements I would absolutely have to do.
So those aren't up to date,
Those aren't, no. I haven't been in the service for a couple years now, so at least my fit testing, emergency driving, things like that are lapsed, and I would have to get those back.
Okay, I got a couple questions. Okay, we have the information. Information went out to everyone. I have looked at it. Tell me about yourself.
Tell me about myself. Tell you about myself.
Tell us about yourself.
Grew up in this area, went to Roscommon High School, graduated, went on to college, played college baseball, came back, was a safety officer at Lear Corporation for 20 years. So I'm well versed in all the OSHA, my OSHA standards and a lot of things like that. I was married previously to my current wife who passed away from cancer. I met my current wife 5 years ago. We've been married for 3, moved here to Lyon Township, was on the fire department in Richfield for 25 years where I was captain, lieutenant, and assistant fire chief for my last 4 years. They asked me to stay on that department even though I had moved here, which I did for a year, but it just got to the point where getting down there for training and making calls from here was a hassle, and I didn't want to, as still the assistant chief, put them in that predicament to have me up here and not being able to go down there, so I resigned from there. After leaving Lear, my wife and I and a partner, we opened up the store at South Higgins Lake State Park, which we currently run. And we love this community, and I want to see it thrive, and I want it to be as safe and as possible for everybody. And I want this department to thrive and build it up to where it needs to be and make sure it maintains that to the future.
Okay, what's your biggest weakness besides wearing shorts all the time?
I don't see that as a weakness.
I know. Me,
Are you talking personal or like the fire service?
Just, this is, it's only the question to you, and you could answer it any way you want.
I think one of my biggest ones, I'm too good-hearted sometimes. But when it comes to the fire service, I wouldn't run it as like a dictatorship, but it would be a strict ship. The rules have to be followed. Training would have to be done, everything would have to be, and I know I'm not perfect, so that's why, like I mentioned with my father-in-law and Mr. Williams, to pick brains of people, and have the common sense to know I don't know it all. And that you are gonna need help in some situations and to reach out and get that help.
Okay, why should we hire you in addition to things you've already said?
I think my experience being on Richfield and how we built that department over the 25 years I was there, being community oriented. I'm not in it for the glory. I'm not really in it for the money. I love serving the people. I love my wife can attest to that. If we're in Florida or we're somewhere and somebody falls or trips, I'm usually the first one running over there to do it. I do it to help the people for the most part. And I think the people of this community deserve a department that they can count on and be there, and they can see them visibly and have a good working relationship with them.
Okay, and last, I know you were at Lear. Why did you leave?
Because we took the store at South State Park.
Okay.
You just need to lower your prices and
Talk to the boss.
Amen.
Get in his pocket.
Yeah.
they are a little expensive, I'll say.
All right, that's, well, isn't there 35% markup automatic around here?
45.
so
All
you
right, so that's all I got, Matt.
graduated from Roscommon High School.
Did, 1990.
You know how to read and write?
Huh?
Know how to read and write?
I know how to read and write, yeah, and cursive. I know how to write cursive.
Hey.
Cursive too.
I graduated from like that's.
Oh, see, well, you don't then, so you're jealous. But my brother was the SRO over there for about 8 years.
Oh, I graduated from Roscommon too, so we always give
Oh,
a shot
yeah.
to each other as the
His
days
wife
go by.
graduated from Roscommon, so, or Houghton Lake.
Okay, that's all I got. How are we on time, Mr. Kern?
Good,
Good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
thank you.
The next one,
We got
155.
another 7 or 8 minutes. We got Mr.
7 or 8 minutes prior?
Well, what can we
Well, let me
call?
see what I got here.
Do the Senate.
Sure. Well, try.
Well, I guess before if we move into that one, did you hear back from the attorney on this? Because this is going to be the attorney's advice to us on
No,
what.
I have sent 4 things to him and have not heard anything in 2 days, which it's not unusual. It pretty much means he's in court.
Yeah,
I think that is unusual. Oh, yeah, he's busy then, okay.
When this happens, he's in court. Yeah, generally.
I mean, because it's gonna, the county sent it to us.
Well,
And,
let me, if we're gonna go there, let me say we're going there.
okay,
So on the agenda, we may have time to jam this in here for number 7B is the county special assessment district bill. Let Mr. Hops explain where he's at on that.
and they sent us a bill finally saying, oh, we missed sending this to you back in, November. So I called the county, talked to them, the treasurer's office there. They couldn't really give me a definition of what the bill was for. They just sent it out. So I in turn talked to Commissioner Morley and asking her since their committee formed this SAD, what this bill encompassed. Why are we getting it? We already got 2 bills for our 2 parks, which we paid on the taxes. And She said it was for the road ends. So I said, we do not own the road ends, that is the road commission. And she in turn argued with me about it. I said, no problem, I'll have to seek legal advice, but in the interim, I sent the bill to the road commission saying, you know, we were sent this in mistake, this is your bill to pay. But I haven't heard back from them yet, which I don't intend to. But, I mean, we're gonna need to get some legal clarification on this. I mean, personally, I don't know why we would pay a bill on property we don't own. And if we do own those road ends, you know, I think the township should look into selling them. If that's the case, but I know it's not. I know we don't own them. I talked to the assessor. She agrees we don't own them. So I don't know if this is another money grab, but I think the attorney needs to, get involved with this one. And you're talking
Yeah.
$21,000 too.
Yeah, if you remember, this was why we passed that motion to support Garish with them denouncing it and actually, you know, filing something against the county if necessary. And I'm sure legal will have some good advice. I think, you know, ever since when I spoke to Brian Hill about this back then, the idea that, you know, to have an assessment, there has to be under state law a direct benefit. Well, my position has always been back then with Garish and for our township now as well, is that if we don't own the road ends and state statute dictates there must be a conferred direct benefit to the people who get assessed, how can there be a benefit for lands we don't own? So,
Okay.
I mean,
I agree.
it doesn't make any sense. You can't have a benefit if you're not entitled to it, and we are not.
Okay, we
Yep.
gotta roll
Sure.
through. My position, certainly have asked the attorney to get involved, and I'm sure he's gonna follow up with, you know, how far you want me to go. I got no problem with all of that, but I do believe, in my experience doing this, they wouldn't be asking us for this money if they didn't think they could make it stick.
Oh, sure.
So,
Agreed.
again, depending on where the fight is, we'll get an answer from our attorney and see where it goes.
I definitely don't want us to lay down on this because now you're setting a precedent. I think we fight this thing all the way.
Well, thank you for that opinion, and
It just seems odd that you ask them, what's the money for, and they don't know what the bill for.
I'm not saying
We
I
just
agree
send out
with
the
any of
bills, is what I was told by
it. Yeah,
the.
I'm not saying I agree with any of it. I'm saying that I have learned that people don't try and force things on you unless they think they can do it legally, or you remove them from office, which is kind of why we're here right now.
I have
But,
I have
okay.
learned the opposite, is if
No,
you
I-
lay down, they take advantage of you.
I understand you and I hear you, and we'll see what he says. Okay, so are we on time for another interview?
Well, it's 1:53, we got 2 minutes before
I think he's here.
Ellen's here.
Yeah, he's here.
If he's here, we can probably go ahead with that, don't you think? Come on in, Alan. You get what's referred to as the hot seat, it really isn't.
We're used to that.
Yeah. What'd they say, they told the paratroopers, you're surrounded, and they said, we're always surrounded. That's normal. Okay, we might as well go ahead and start. Okay, I've been trying to say the same thing for each interview. I believe that everybody who has applied has credentials and that some are different than others. I appreciate the fact that you applied. There was a letter sent out that asked you for certain information, and I believe we got that already. And I've certainly looked at your resume and so have the others. There was a second letter sent out for 2 letters of recommendation from previous bosses. Did you have any luck with that? So far, we've got 1.
That will be a little bit difficult for me since any of the bosses that I would care to have give me recommendations are either retired or no longer in the industries which I work with them for. Some of them, a lot of my downstate former employers as well as direct supervisors or bosses have moved on. I don't want to say that I've completely lost touch with them, but it would be trying to get a hold of them through something like the neighborhood of LinkedIn or something along those lines. So unfortunately for me, even two of my references are now retired. And I still keep in contact with them as far as just general, back and forths. But I don't really have anyone in northern Michigan here that I would feel confident, with the exception of one of my references was the former supervisor at a department that I previously worked at. So I guess he would be someone that would be considered a supervisor of mine, one of the references. So,
Well, it was up to you, and you're not alone that we didn't get a lot. I will not operate on handshakes or discussion. I wanted to see it in writing if there were any, and if not, that's fine. As far as myself, I got a couple of questions, but I would turn it over to the board for whatever else they may have first. But again, thank you for applying and thank you for the service that you give to the community.
you're welcome.
So I got just probably two. And I went through your resume and your experience and everything. Everything's good, looks good. You were how long have you been on the department currently?
2 years.
2 years. So in those 2 years, do you have any suggestions you would have wanted to bring to somebody and eventually to make changes? Did you see what's going on where we miss runs constantly?
I do.
Did you bring that up to anybody at any time? Bring up what we could be doing differently?
There were discussions that I'd had with our former EMS coordinator. We would brainstorm and trying to figure out ways to solve this problem. Ideally, it comes down to, manpower, staffing issue primarily, or a problem with people responding when tones drop. Ideally, most of us have a job outside Lyon Township Fire, which is fortunate and unfortunate for Lyon Township and the residents of Lyon Township.
It seems to be the trend.
It is, and it's not just a trend in Lyon Township, I
No.
assure you. It's a trend everywhere.
Yeah.
Again, no excuse, but we still have a medical license on the wall at the station that requires us to respond to all of our calls based on that license. That being said, the residents of Lyon Township aren't going to be left without medical support. I assure you that. We've got other agencies, however, what they may incur is charges from those agencies that Lyon Township having an ambulance on scene might help to mitigate.
Yeah,
So, yes,
they get pretty costly.
it can be. We all know that. We all have relatives we've all taken a ride in an ambulance, and it's ridiculous that they charge what they do,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, that's the nature of the business.
My last question is, as again, I just went through your resume and been on the force 2 years. If somehow it turns out that you don't get this position and somebody else does, are you willing to work with them and stay on at your current?
Chain of command is chain of command. I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't matter where I fall in that chain of command. If I've signed up, I don't take this job lightly. I absolutely don't. It's not my full-time job. At one point it was.
Right.
For my previous employer. And so, yeah, I take it seriously regardless of what position I'm in.
Okay, good answer. Because I know some people, if they don't get certain things, then they just up and want to quit. So I just want to make sure you're not one of those guys.
No, not at all.
Okay. I'm good. Yep.
Okay. Alan, if appointed, are you prepared to name an EMS coordinator or administrator to present to the board? Do you have somebody in mind? I don't need a name,
I don't have anyone in mind, honestly. It's a job that would take some thought.
Oh, yes.
Again, the area is taxed for qualified personnel. I know the other agency I work for, we've got someone who's on our full-time staff that does that job for us, and she's very good at it. However, she has a full-time job there. I mean, there's a lot that comes with it, as well as the chief's position. It's paperwork based. There's a lot of computer hours. There's requirements that the state puts us under for not only our equipment, our personnel, our training, our rig, everything that falls under it. And so there's a lot of, it would be consideration on my part, and I would hope that I would get input from potentially other medical staff members at the department on potential members that they think would fit the bill. Again,
I think the job is a pain in the butt with all the paperwork and the computers.
it is. I mean, everything has gotten paperwork based now.
I know.
Looking, fire grants alone is a full-time job. Just looking at fire grants and trying to keep up with those is a full-time job. So,
It is.
and based on what they request for information, which isn't always easiest to get or readily available, just makes that job that much harder. When you're looking at what the outcome of getting that right is, and it's funds in the coffers for the department, it's an important task that's part of the role, obviously. And just staying abreast of the information out there can be a full-time job. There are a lot of things out there to keep tabs on, which I try and do myself. I mean, in my current role, I'm trying to sell $1 million apparatus to departments that can't afford a $400,000 apparatus. So, anytime I can push them in directions, which is, I try and do that to help my customers and give them information that might help them to be able to afford the equipment that we need to do our jobs.
Are you ready to embark on some kind of a recruitment program immediately? Obviously, we're far short of what
We are far short, yes. It's of my thought that we have a rather antiquated rule in place that requires us to maintain firefighters that live within 5 miles of the border of the department. And people will argue with you that that's there for safety reasons. And I will argue with them that the safety of an incoming firefighter to a departmental call falls on the requirements of that firefighter to use the head on his shoulders. The department and or the township aren't liable for that firefighter or his vehicle on the way to a call. It's his responsibility to make sure that A, he gets there, because he doesn't do us any good if he doesn't get there, and B, that he gets there safely, which should be one and the same as far as I'm concerned. There are departments in northern Michigan that don't allow lights and sirens on cars, and they do that for a reason, because people feel that that light and that siren gives you carte blanche to do whatever you want. I haven't worked for a department in northern Michigan that doesn't abide by the due regard to safety, which is what we are held to. We are required to give due regard to safety first, getting to the department second. Using an argument like not getting to the scene safely enough because you live too far away, to me is not, that's a Band-Aid. That's lack of training, that's lack of accountability, which there can't be any place for in this business. I, for one, live 12 miles from the other station I work for. I'm not allowed to run lights and sirens. I'm to get there when I get there safely, first and foremost. If I don't make first truck, I don't make first truck. There are things at the department that need to be done, whether it be mopping floors, monitoring the radio, getting equipment ready that could need to go to scene. So saying that we have to keep that in place and having it potentially limit us recruiting people because they live a half of a mile outside that range, I'm not buying that.
We have discussed probably extending
Yes.
that, maybe even to double
And
that before, but that's a board decision.
And
to make.
that's a decision that needs to be looked at only
Yeah.
from a staffing standpoint, that we've taxed the available firefighters, and I'm just talking firefighters, I'm not even talking EMS at this point, because EMS is a different animal. The EMS personnel have to live close enough or they have to be at the station already in order to pull that rig in a timely manner to meet our ALS or beat our ALS to scene. And that's where, you know, preventing undue charges to the township residents comes into play. If we can make sure that Lyon Township has a rig on scene, then we ensure that the charges incurred to the residents for that care stick with Lyon Township, or at least Lyon Township has a say in the matter. And it's not left to our ALS partners, whoever they may be. No slam on them. They've got bills to pay. They've got personnel to pay as well. But the residents of Lyon Township pay for that bus to be in that barn, and that bus should be at their house if they need it.
Are you willing to work with us on a suitable salary and benefits package?
Yes, that is a thought that I've had recently, more so than not, because I do still work a full-time job. And I work that full-time job because I have to work that full-time job because the bills don't go away. Currently trying to find a house up here, and not sure if anybody's done that recently, and that's not as easy as it used to be either, so.
It's pretty costly.
It is costly,
Yeah.
and trying to find something that keeps me at least relatively close to the area has been difficult, although we're taking our time with that decision.
Okay,
So yes, that is a consideration of mine, and I would have to probably have this conversation with my current employer, although my current employer is a 30-year firefighter, and he's very well known in the business, and he's a very good person to work for. I don't think they would have a problem with it, but again, it would probably be a conversation I have to have with them.
I also think you've also answered my next question would be about making sure the updating of equipment, the schooling, the training, everything. You've mentioned this on your resume, and
Yes,
depending on money available,
please.
all this stuff needs to be looked at.
Please understand that the comments I'm making are based on insufficient data. I'm a data guy. I did it for 30 years. That was what I did. I didn't get paid to make widgets. I didn't get paid to make tongue depressors. I made data. That was my job for 30 years. And I'm making some assumptions. I'm making some comments based on insufficient data. So, you know, budgetary items, training items, things of that nature. The equipment I've had enough experience with in the last 2 years to know that Lyon Township is in a pretty good place as far as our equipment goes.
Compared to other places?
Compared to other places, trust me, and I was at a place yesterday that would
Oh, yeah.
surprise you. That being said, that doesn't mean that there aren't pieces of equipment that we potentially use, maybe not daily, but we could potentially need daily, that need to be updated, including our SCBA packs. Our SCBA packs are coming up for expiration this year, and that's one of those things that we want to make sure works when we ask it to work.
So keep an eye on this stuff.
Yep. Bottles, however, bottles were just recently tested. Those are all in good standing. We have one bottle that's out that's being worked on right now that got delayed, but the rest of them are in service. So yes, not just trucks. Please don't think it's trucks. There's equipment everywhere. We were very lucky that we were able to take delivery on the truck that we did. When we did, with the equipment that we had, it sets us up longer term.
Sure.
And that's more than we can say for some of our some other departments.
Agreed. Thank you.
I'll be real quick, just a couple things. First of all, is there and I didn't receive it, is there a work experience to your resume? I don't have any information as such. Not because I don't know you.
I've got, I thought I sent a resume in that would have
Well, I
had some
have,
work experience.
mine doesn't include, it just talks about philosophy and,
That might have been the requested information about the plan moving forward. There was a resume that was included.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, so it may have just been a mistake. I can get it to you.
okay, no, that's fine, that's fine.
No, I think.
Okay, same question I asked everyone else with
Sure.
brutal honesty.
Sure.
Biggest flaw you see being involved with Lyon Township in the last few years, why, and I hear it all the time where I work my full-time job, why EMS runs in the department is so defunct,
Defunct.
in my opinion. That's just-
Interesting term. I will tell you that. Lack of personnel, lack of personnel. Let me rephrase that. So when I came to Lyon, we had just lost someone that was in my level that I pretty much took the place of. Prior to me arriving, he had run 80 to 90% of the runs with our former EMS coordinator. I fell into that role immediately. So I've run 80% of our runs in the last 2 years with her. Now that she's no longer here, not only did we lose an EMS coordinator, but more importantly, we lost an EMT. An EMT that I worked pretty well with, in my opinion. I worked really well with her. That being said, in that time, we haven't added anyone new. It wasn't for lack of trying. I put feelers out to people that I knew to see if they'd be interested in coming. They were already working at 2 and 3 agencies at that time. So bringing them on here, and at that time not being able to offer them shifts, let's say. The EMS people in the area are shift oriented. They're hours oriented. And I know some that aren't afraid to work around the clock 5, 6, 7 days a week. Some of us have to do that, and it's just because we have to, you know. But not having something in place where we could offer them shift work to be here. And I'm not necessarily saying that Lyon Township is the place for shift work. We have a community that grows in the summer and goes back down in the fall and winter. So anything that would be done at Lyon should be looked at from the Memorial Day to Labor Day timeframe, when maybe we need to spool up the support for the EMS side of things in those months. And then in the off season, maybe we scale it back to just a couple members that are paid to be there throughout the week. That being said, when does that time frame stop? Do you stop it at 8 p.m.? Do you stop it at 6 p.m.? Because when those people walk out the door, then it's still left on those of us that can answer from home.
Right.
So, and we won't always be available. Everyone's got lives. Everyone does other things. An EMS call when I'm in Houghton Lake is no less an EMS call. I just can't get here in enough time.
Right.
So, and I'm no farther than 25 minutes away. Again, it comes down to staffing, and it comes down to having staff that's close enough to answer an on-call pager call, or you have to have staff that's readily available at the department. And that's a fiscal responsibility that I'm not sure that we're ready to bear at this point, at least off-season. So.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Close on time.
Yep.
Okay, you got anything, Mr. Detmer?
Just the usual question. If you get the job, but do you have the training and certificates that you need, or you're going to have to do training somewhere?
There's one, I was set up to take Officer 2, which is the second step in the officer process that would make you eligible for a captain's position. State of Michigan requires Fire 1 and 2 with hazmat endorsement, Instructor 1, Officer 1, and Officer 2 to maintain a chief's position. Moving past that, it's essentially, the curriculum is designed for larger departments, say Traverse City, Alpena, maybe Mount Pleasant, something like that. So I'm lacking in my Officer 2. I was actually set up to take that test probably 3 months ago, and the test was canceled due to lack of participation. There are at least 2 or 3 of those classes that are being offered this fall that I could very easily step into. All of them are virtual, which makes it easy for me so that they can be done from home.
We're running to the end of the time. I got some questions for you that don't necessarily need a long explanation.
Sure.
But I'll give you the time that you need to answer them. Tell me about yourself.
Blue-collar kid, grew up in Southeast Michigan, 3rd generation Ford Motor Company for the better part of, most of my career. Was hired in, probably one of the bigger days of my life, got hired in full-time at Ford Motor Company in 97. Worked at Ford until 2000 when they spun us out. Stayed with that. I was in non-destructive testing for the better part of 30 years. Was cut in a group of cuts in 2016 when the Koreans bought us out. Was out of work for a month and a half until I was picked up by a former customer of mine, worked for him. Kind of worked in that mode until was reached out to by a former employer to come work for a company called Gentherm in Novi. Led a team there, ran a lab, went to Germany 6 times, partnered with a couple companies in Germany to build some vehicles over there, demo and test vehicles. Got tired of making the drive up here every Thursday, Friday, and going home Sunday, Monday, so decided to move up full time. And immediately got involved with the fire service, and really haven't looked back since.
Okay. What do you think your biggest weakness is?
As I get older, aches and pains, patience, my patience level is starting to wane as I get older. I need to learn to be a little bit more patient, with everything pretty much. So,
Okay. Why should we hire you?
that's a good question. And I'm not gonna say because I'm already on the department, and I'm not gonna say because, you know, I've done what I can for Line the last couple years. I'm not gonna say lesser of all evils. I don't know, maybe because I've got a brain on my head and I don't jump to conclusions, and this job requires that for a mindset, in that you have to understand that you're going into situations at times that put other people's lives in danger, whether that's your partner or your crew. And you've also got to look at the fact that the person whose house you're walking into with dirty boots might not want your dirty boots in there, even though the backside of the house is on fire. It's one of those things I don't take lightly, and I'll never take it lightly, because you shouldn't take it lightly as far as I'm concerned. So,
Okay. And last one, why'd you leave your last job?
last job. If we're talking job that was worth talking about, it would have been when I moved up here, when I left Gentherm. My last fire job would have been Beaver Creek Township. They had a turnover in board there that wasn't happy with the fact that I was the spouse of an outgoing board member. And let's just say that the way things were gone about probably wasn't the best way, but at the same time, I'd already laid the groundwork at 2 different departments, and they seemed to be more than happy to have me there.
Okay. That's all I have. In order to move along, then, again, thank you for the service that you performed for the
Absolutely.
township. What was that?
I said absolutely.
And we've all looked at it, and we've all had the interview process with you, so we will let you know on where it's going.
Not a
I
problem.
appreciate you coming down and
Nope.
spending the time with us.
Thank you for your time, members of the board and public.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Alan.
So, Mr. Pern, where are we at here?
Doug Bourgeois.
And I believe he's sitting out in the
Yeah.
foyer there.
Hello.
How you doing, sir? Well, I'm here. That says it all, doesn't it? So Doug, thanks for coming in. I have corresponded with you a couple times on emails, but nice to meet you in person. Trying to say the same things over and over here, so there were letters sent.
His mic's off.
If it's red, it's dying. If
Just hit that button there.
Alan turned it off.
There you go.
Channel 30?
Close enough.
Yeah,
Yep.
All right.
thank you.
So letters went out as far as the posting and some initial questions, and another one. We certainly have had a chance to look at your application and your resume. The last letter that went out asked for 2 letters of recommendation from previous bosses.
Yes.
Were you able to come up with either one of those, or?
My last 2 bosses, one of them's dead, so I didn't feel
That'll be tough.
that's gonna be
That
tough.
would be
And the other one is
inappropriate.
my current boss, and she's been very busy, and I've talked with her about it, but, she said she was too busy.
Okay,
That's the last bosses in, I don't know, 20 years.
all right. So I think, well, I have some questions and I'll get to those, but we'll turn it over to the board here and let them start.
Couple of questions. Right now, you're currently at Beaver Creek,
Yes, sir.
and how long you been there?
10 years,
10 years.
going on, a little under 10, 9.5.
And then before that?
Highland Township Fire Department, and I also own my own business.
Okay.
That's in Oakland County.
So, do you live in Beaver Creek?
Yes,
You do, okay.
yes. About a mile.
Why, so why do you want to switch from Beaver Creek to Lyon Township?
Lion's got a lot of opportunity. I mean, there's a lot going on in Lion, but there's a lot going on in Beaver Creek too. I'm not trying to jump ship or anything like that. I'm just seeing what might be available out there. I have a great working relationship with my current board, and it's not that I want to get out of there.
It just, I don't know, strikes me a little odd. You want to go from one to another, but that's your choice. Do you have a contract with Beaver Creek?
Yes,
And when does that run out?
another 3 years.
3 years. So you're going to bail on your contract if you were to get this position?
Yes, there's a clause that they can allow me to leave, or I can ask to leave. So it's been written into the contract. We have that understanding already.
I just, I'll just say, I mean, it's your choice. You're going to do what you're going to do, but I mean, you've already committed to this township and new opportunity arises and you're just, blow them by the wayside. It's not the, most appealing thing I'll say for me. Other than that, I'm good. I've read the resume. So I'm good.
Well, Doug, once again, it's a very extensive resume. We know that. We got a lot of credentials there. I'm trying to get the same to each one of the people. I'll ask you the same. If chosen or appointed, are you prepared to appoint a new EMS coordinator, administrator to present to the board? Do you have someone in mind? I don't want a name.
Do I have someone particular in mind? I know a couple people.
Not on for some reason.
Why? Oh, okay. I wonder if I hit no batteries.
It's dying. Where did Pam go? I could probably hear her. Yeah, give me yours.
Okay.
You use that one.
Maybe I was talking too much. Anyways, you don't have a person in mind at this time?
I know some people who would probably be good, but it depends on the parameters of that job requirement.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I've been in this a long time.
Okay. We are in desperate need, so are you ready to begin a recruitment program immediately and put us back in a money-generating trend rather than continue to pay others to take our run? See, right now, we're not only paying salaries for people, we're paying other people to take it, and it costs us money with nothing coming in.
I understand. That would be, I think, in the letter that you asked me to write, I believe I mentioned something about
You did.
EMS, and things would have to be looked at there because
Mm-hmm.
they're,
Okay, you're willing to work with us for a suitable salary and benefits. We'd have the long discussions, I'm sure, but you're making a pretty good amount of money over
I
there.
am.
Right
I have no complaints at all.
Okay. Can you totally commit to getting us up and running with an eye towards updating equipment, schooling, training, vehicle maintenance, with the number one, probably looking at the SCBA's and the turnout gear. Some of the stuff is a little older than I'd like it, that we have right now. If the budget allows it, would you be giving this your full attention? We hope so.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah. When I came to Beaver Creek, I had 3 firefighters, and we had all obsolete gear, obsolete trucks. So that's not the case anymore, but I've been there 9.5 years now, so I've had a chance to work towards that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have a very nice firehouse. We got a beautiful new rig
You
just
do.
this last year. It's awfully nice, so that
Beautiful.
we have a start. But that protection for the people that are responding to these runs is paramount. That's a very important issue. All right, thank you very much. This should be good if you want to switch it back down there again. Yeah, you're almost out.
I don't plan on talking anymore.
Oh, shit, I got a whole nother meeting to
Hey, remember all those agenda items you wanted to add?
go.
You'll be talking. Okay. Other board members, and then I'll get to these.
Keep it in order, I guess. Hi, how are you, Doug?
Good, how
Yeah,
are you
just
today?
same, fine, thank you, thank you for showing up. Same question I pretty much asked everyone else, but I'm going to tweak yours a little bit since you are what your profession is right now. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk, we'll say, in the last few years, and a lot of things have happened in our community that people are well aware of when it comes to EMS in this township and our fire department. And so, do you have an opinion if what is one of the biggest flaws of why Lyon Township EMS and Fire Department has gone so defunct? And I want to clarify, I'm using the word defunct because I was asked to by residents because that's the way they see it. Thank you.
Well, I mean, Lyon isn't too much different than most places out there right now. All the equipment costs so much money, and then also, that's a problem, but one of the major problems is recruitment retention. I did that for 5 years at Highland, but down in Oakland County, when I was down there, I had 19,600 people in my community to pull from. Up here, just like in Beaver Creek.
Almost that many? Oh, no,
Oh, yeah.
one digit less, isn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, some of these people up here, and I mean Beaver Creek here and everywhere, you know, they're part-timers. They're not staying around. They're going snowbound, getting out. So it's very difficult. And I understand that. It's going to take a while to get that back up. When you say defunct, could you tell me more of what you're trying to
You're
politically
good
correctly
because
say?
nope, we're good, thank you, Dad. That's been the common thing, it comes down to recruiting personnel, so I appreciate it, yeah. I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Detmer?
So if you get the job, is there any certificates or training that you're going to have to get before you are qualified to do it, or are you already?
I've got everything. I've got chief certificates. I've got officer 1, 2, 3. I've got instructor 1. I got instructor 2. I mean, I've got every certificate. Well, I'm not meaning it that way. I don't have every certificate, no.
Right.
But I've got more than enough of the certificates required to be an officer and to be a chief officer.
And they're all current.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Okay, what's the count on the fire department of Beaver Creek right now?
How many people?
Yeah,
7. We're in the same, I've got 1,200 people in my community.
yeah, it's not much different.
No.
Is EMS 24/7 out of there or not?
So the fire department runs EMS, all right, but we do not transport. We just get on scene and assist,
Okay.
right? So, and that is from 7 in the morning until 10 at night. Someone is always covering the station, usually 2. From 10 o'clock until 7 in the morning, we don't have anyone who would respond from home, but we've also got an arrangement with MMR, which was different than the arrangement you guys had. MMR's
Right.
okay. So we have an arrangement with them, and they house out of our station. So for a lot of time, they're there at night sleeping and or just working out of there. So that part is covered at night also for us. And
Okay.
they actually give us money to be there, so. But we don't get any money on transport or any money on any medical aspect, okay?
Okay, that clears that up for me. Some different kind of questions. Tell me about yourself.
Well, grew up in Royal Oak, Michigan. Went to school at Northern Michigan University, graduated in conservation criminal justice. Started my own karate business had that for 41 years while I did fire. And worked my way from firefighter to sergeant to inspector to fire marshal. And then that's when I took a job up here. Always loved the area. My friend had property here, and we came up all through my college years and my high school years. Grayling, not Roscommon County.
Okay,
And
oh, go ahead.
I love the fire service. I mean, I've been in it for 31 years and I enjoy it.
all right, what do you think your biggest weakness is?
So sometimes I say what I'm thinking, and maybe it's not appropriate sometimes, but I try to be nice about it. I've learned a lot from being, a fire marshal is a political position also, and fire chief is obviously a political position, so you need to learn those things.
Okay, tell us why we should hire you.
Well, thank you for that question. And Kevin, I wanted to answer you at the beginning, but I had to get through all the questions first. So why I applied is I see that just like Beaver Creek, Lyon Township needs some help. Okay. And it's nothing, well, a lot of it is the demographics of what we have going on. Some of it is money, some of it's not. But there's a lot of things going on that don't allow us to do the job that we'd like. And I came up here in February of 17, and I immediately started making relationships with the neighboring communities. And you knew that time, you guys had a terrible relationship with Beaver Creek, and Beaver Creek had a terrible relationship with you, and it wasn't your fault. It was the chief who was there. So I feel that even if you don't hire me, I think you'll understand that I put my heart and soul into Beaver Creek. And the way that I've done that is the citizens come first, always, and every time. My firefighters are right behind them. And then, believe it or not, the board is in there later, okay? They're not my concern compared to the citizens and my firefighters. And I think that with a good working relationship with the neighboring communities, I'll tell you, I had a wonderful relationship with Chief Cleaves. And whether you like him or not, he was a very good fire chief, very good. And we got along very well because we both had the same thought, is that it's about the people and it's about your firefighters. And should mention safety in there too, but that goes with my firefighters. So even if you don't hire me, you know who I am now, and you know that I have qualifications. You know that I can make things happen, whether it be with your chief or as your chief. We can make things move in a positive direction. And that's really why I'm sitting here with you guys today. It's not to jump ship. I don't think you can offer me what it would take to get me to leave. But if you wanted to work some kind of a relationship where we work together like dual dispatch, where my guys always come to your calls and your guys always come to my calls, you can afford it this way, I can afford it this way, and the citizens and the firefighters will benefit from it. So however it works out for you guys, whatever you decide, I think you have a basic idea where I'm at now, and I hope how important it is that we get along and it's all about the people. That's kind of it.
Okay, well, that's fine. Last one. Why'd you leave your last job?
Which last job?
Whichever one you choose to answer about.
Well, the last job I chose to leave, so, was Highland Township Fire Department. And I had a great time down there. It's wonderful. But I was looking to move into a chief's position. I'd been training all my credentials, getting all my training ready for that move. And it actually came in up here. And I came up and interviewed for it and got the job. I had numerous interviews before that, so I wasn't, there's nothing bad about about Highland Township. I really enjoyed the place, loved the job. Moving
All
along.
right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Unless there's any additional questions from the board.
On here. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
you.
Doug.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in,
Oh,
sir.
you guys have a
Pleasure.
wonderful
Thank you,
day.
sir.
You too.
Take care.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me get back to the stuff here.
Well, you've got, first up, you've got one, number 7.
Well, let me,
And then we'll go into the other, sorry, I meant number 5.
okay, I'm not, there's a continuation of this
Yeah.
interview process that I would like to get to. I don't want to do another motion. I'm going to suggest that we take a 5-minute break for the board and let me be clear about this. Please do not approach the board members. While we take this 5-minute break for the board members, try and get in your head which 2 of these candidates you would like to move forward in the process. And when we come back, let's see where we land on that stuff. So let's take 5 minutes to think about it. You all have the information. You were all here for the interview.
I'd rather have a week to think about it at the board meeting, do this, but
Well,
that's okay.
yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
One bar lift.
I told you that.
Yeah, you might as well throw them out. I'll give you new ones. I'm not gonna say anymore. Lead.
Ruin all the fun?
You look for. Oh, well, I'm gonna give them a little leeway to get back in here, so. 5 minutes is not enough for a cigarette. Probably blazing yak out there. Who's that? Oh, I don't think so. Probably went to try and smoke. Maybe it's him. Oh, that's Matt. Bruce, would you holler at them that we're gonna?
I said, get moving.
You're the ordinance officer, wave a ticket book in their face.
Yeah, but remember, he's also the sexton. Don't push him.
That was, that one might carry a little more sway. Sexton.
I give you such a good deal.
Yeah. 2 for 1. Do lock the door?
Sticks, people. Gotta give it some boom. Anybody you know out there, tell them we're going.
Lifesavers.
Yep.
Okay, break time's over. I'm going to do a continuation of the interview process and see where this lands. I'm going to ask Clerk Pern to do a roll call through the Township Board for the board to give the 2 names, the board members to give the 2 names that they would like to recommend move forward in the interview process. We are going to end up with a couple of different scenarios there, possibly. If we are in complete disagreement, then we'll set a special meeting. If we are in general agreement, I would make a motion that we move forward. So Clerk Pern, in any order that you see fit, please poll the board on which two candidates they feel should move forward.
Okay. All right. Treasurer Hops.
Steve Fay, Matthews Ripsky.
Okay, Steve and Matt. Supervisor Bertrand.
I have, at least for my ratings, I had Matt and Doug, but I think Doug has pretty much explained that we might not be able to match what he's currently getting, so I have Matt and Steve Fay.
Trustee Detmer.
I go with Stephen Fay and Matt. How do you pronounce his last name?
Okay. Vern, Steve, and Matt. Tim Bonet.
I can't vote because this is out of procedural requirements. We should be voting independently and then just taking the numbers from there. So this is inappropriate to me, so I cannot vote in this case.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Is that 4 or 5?
Well, we have 4. And
4 and a no, okay. So based on that, I'm going to make a motion that we contact Steve and Matt and ask them to come in at our board meeting, and the board will make a decision then on which one we would select and move forward from there. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, any discussion from the board then?
I'd like to thank all 4 members for coming to make their presentation. I'm sorry the other 2 couldn't adjust their work schedule to it, and the 2 people that applied late after we closed the nominations were also very accredited, but they both live downstate, and they didn't get the notice in time, so they said, but they wished us well. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, any further discussion from the board? I feel the same way. We got some good people. We are also in a time constraint. We need to move forward. Is any other comments from the board? Okay, hearing none. All of those in favor of contacting Matt and Steve to let them know that they are the final 2 applicants and moving forward at our board meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And oppose the same. Okay, that motion carries, and I would leave it to you, Clerk Byrne, to notify them officially.
Will do. It's the same as before.
Yep.
US mail and email.
Absolutely.
You can't count on the US mail.
So when I do the agenda for the board meeting, I'll work in there where the issue of talking about that will lie, and that'll give them an opportunity to not come in and waste their time. Likely might be right up front in that board meeting.
Sure.
Okay, so where are we at now? Let's back up.
Back to the English.
So, yeah, well, we killed a couple of these loose ones. Now we have number 4. Now we're at number 5.
Yeah.
And on the agenda, that would discuss a bonus for Richard Maplebeck. This is quickly turning into possibly just my personal thing. When we came here, we want to keep our good people. This should have happened last spring. We gave JC a raise. I know we talked about it. Maybe people won't remember. I know what happened. We never made a motion.
We didn't give JC a raise last spring.
I'm sorry, fall, excuse me.
No,
When we
first
did the
year.
budget,
A year ago, full.
Yes.
when we did the budget, we did the deputies all got an increase. And then not long after that, JC, and at that time discussed Richard getting an increase, and that apparently never went past the discussion because there's no motions of it. To go back pay is a little bit illegal, if not a serious hassle. I asked him to give me how many hours he might have worked in the last year at a rate of a $2 a raise increase, which we did give him the raise increase here just recently. For the hours that he worked in that last year, that would equal a bonus of almost $2,000. I'm going to make a motion for the sake of any additional discussion after the backstory that we give as a reward for consistent dedication that amount of $2,000 and a bonus subject to taxes as payroll. Do we have a second?
I'll second for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, any further discussion from the board? That's where I'm at on it.
Whatever wants to start, go ahead.
My opinion is we just gave him a raise June 1st of $2 an hour. So I think that's good. And if you talk to the man, he's good with it. So I don't know why we're doing this, but.
I agree that $2 is, it was probably due him. He was a hardworking guy, but, I'm 100% against back pay or bonuses, either one. I just don't think there's a place for it. Yeah, JC got his raise about a year and a half ago, and he went up to $18.50 from the $17. So I think the 17 is sufficient for Richard. That's just my opinion.
And of course, I have some information to share.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's been my understanding that bonuses are not allowed in our handbook, employee handbook. At some point in time, I have never seen our employee handbook. Every board member sitting on this board should have a copy of that handbook to review. On top of that, I will give some insight, and this may help clarify. First of all, I'd like to say we all know that Supervisor Bertrand's contention is for compensation for back pay for a raise that did not occur, right, wrong, or indifferent. Well, I have some information, and this is compiled online, but it does come from Michigan Township Association, University of Michigan Law School, and Michigan State Law School. Yes, a Michigan township can provide back pay to resolve unpaid wages or correct clerical errors. However, granting a retroactive bonus or extra compensation for services that have already been rendered is unconstitutional under Article 11, Section 3 of the Michigan State Constitution. I have read it in full. Back pay. Townships are legally permitted to pay past due wages if the employee originally earned the pay but did not receive it. This is fulfilling a pre-existing obligation, not extra pay. Bonuses. Under the Michigan Wages and Fringe Benefits Act, and I've read most of it, townships can award bonuses, but only if those bonuses were clearly outlined in a pre-existing written personal policy, contract, or union agreement before the work was completed. Constitutional restrictions. The Michigan Constitution prohibits townships from authorizing extra compensation or retroactive bonuses to any public officer, agent, or employee of the township after the work has already been completed. Elected officials. The ban on retroactive extra compensation is strictly enforced for elected township officials, and you can review from there. So, in my opinion, if we were to even allow this, it would be unfair due process, and it would be violating our Constitution.
Thank you, sir. I would add that without mentioning names, we've been in this situation before, and our attorney said we could do it. But that's, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none, could we have a roll call on the motion for a $2,000 bonus subject to taxes? Please, Clerk Kern.
Sure. Clerk Pern, no. Trustee Detmer,
No.
Trustee Monet,
No.
Treasurer Hobbs,
No.
Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, the motion fails at 1-4. Okay, moving on. All right, we already snuck number 6 in. Number 7, in my quest to try and get things in front of the board before decisions, we are looking at purchasing 20 bigger concert series signs that are 11 by 17 cardstock. They would go out in various areas within the community and to the sponsors. The point being, a lot of people, I didn't bring an example. The current one that is 14, if you don't see real well, that's not easily readable. So we were talking about going the bigger size up to put on storefronts or where the sponsors are. So the cost, from Express Copy, I do not have a final cost. They said it would be under $45. So that being the backstory, I'm going to make a motion that we approve this purchase not to exceed $50. Do we have a second on that
Are you
motion?
talking about?
I'll second for
$45
discussion.
a piece?
No,
That was
total.
my next, yeah, I'll second for
$900.
discussion.
Purchase of 20 bigger concert series signs, 11 by 17 from Express Copy for under 45. The motion would be that it not exceed 50 because I don't have the pennies.
How much is one?
Well, my copy doesn't say 20, so that was going to be my next
Two.
question too. How many was it? Is it 45 each or is it under
So
40?
the actual agenda is not going to have the motion, and it is for 20. Let me restate it again, just to be clear. Talking about purchasing 20 bigger concert series signs at 11 by 17 cardstock from Express Copy, and the motion would be not to exceed $50.
So they are $2.50 a piece.
Is that what you're saying? They're $2.50 a piece?
If it's 20 for
Yeah.
no more than 50. Is that correct, Supervisor?
If you're looking at cardstock, you people understand that this is the heavy duty
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if that's what they say they are, they are.
Yeah, but is it $50 or is it $900? That's a big difference.
Not to exceed $50.
I'm gonna ask you until I get the answer I want. Is it 50 a piece?
No,
So it's
50 for the lot?
$2.50.
50, not to exceed 50 for the lot.
Okay, all right. That's a
Cool.
huge difference as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
So
it
they're
is.
$2.50 a piece, basically.
Yep.
Wow, it's a good deal.
Not for 900, but for that, yes.
Okay, so
Any
put-
more?
I'll second that.
Okay, so yeah, it's good enough.
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion from the board on this?
Can I just hear the motion again?
Sure. Purchase of 20 bigger concert series signs, 11 by 17 cardstock from Express Copy for under $50.
Okay.
Full already.
Perfect. Money involved.
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll end the discussion and then can we have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Trustee Monet,
Yes.
trustee Detmer,
Yes.
clerk Pern, yes. Treasurer Hobbs
Yes.
and Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, that motion would carry it 5-0. All right, so skipping down, 8 and 9 were already done. So we are now to strictly the additions.
7A for zoning.
7A for zoning, and hang on a minute. Did everybody in their packet get the letter about zoning? From Robert Amore. You got this in your packet?
I've already got all my information. I've got 20
Okay.
pages of labor standard laws right
Did I
here.
put it in for the rest of you?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, in the packet that was on the table before we sat down, it should be in there.
Yeah, I already know what it's all about,
Okay.
so I'm good.
So, this is him asking for more money based on his, I'll read it. It has come to my attention, this is to the board members from Robert and Moore. It's come to my attention that my zoning administrator status as a salaried employee is not permitted under the Fair Labor Standards Act. My work as a township zoning administrator does not qualify as a, quote, exempt from the FLSA minimum wage and hours requirement. Since my work does not fall under the categories of, quote, bona fide executive, administrative, professional, and outside sales employees, unquote, I must be classified and paid as an hourly employee regulated by the FLSA. I've included the links to these federal requirements in the Michigan Township Association as a basis for my conclusion. Please feel free to check with the Michigan Township Association and Township Attorney to verify. In light of this obvious violation of the FLSA, I will expect the township to change my pay from salary to hourly immediately. I will provide evidence of the required minimum hours to perform my duties as zoning admin. My new hourly rate should be in keeping with similar roles within township offices, such as deputy clerk, deputy treasurer, deputy supervisor. I have submitted this to our attorney, have not heard back yet. There it is.
So, he's a contractor with us. Like, he's got a signed contract.
He has a signed contract. He's disputing that we should be doing that based on his statement and references. This, me personally, I'm not going. Battery died. Thank you. Personally, I'm not touching this with anything.
This one.
Sure.
There's no batteries up there anymore.
Is it too-
Well, then get your own.
I'm not touching this with a 50-foot pole until our attorney weighs in.
Well, we can't have a motion, we're not gonna do anything till we do hear from the attorney that, I for one do not like ultimatums. You must do this, you
Well,
must.
this is on the agenda because Mr. Hobbs wanted it.
I know.
Mr. Hobbs can share something with us.
I'm sure he will.
No, I just don't like, first of all, he's under contract. Second of all, the demands, like, we will do this immediately. Like, who, that's not the way you would go about something when you're wanting a different wage. But I'm gonna let Timothy, he's got some information.
Yeah, I do. I've been working on this for a couple of weeks now. What? Exactly. Thank you. Yep. The
Okay.
zoning admin's paid a W-2.
Gotta get a mic or you gotta use
Yeah,
one, 'cause
yeah,
it's
the
not
zoning,
gonna
yeah.
come out.
I can talk loud.
Yeah.
They can hear me.
Yeah, Robert is a W-2 salaried employee, passed by the previous board. He gets paid bi-weekly. I've spoken with him on this matter. I've reached out to a lot of people, and I'll just tell you what I know as of right now, and there are a lot of legal questions, a lot. And it's for a lot of what he has stated. All right. This is from some legal friends at U of M. That goes to Michigan Township Association, the interviews. A Michigan Township zoning administrator can absolutely get paid a flat annual salary. In Michigan, this position is appointed by the Township Board, which has the authority to determine the compensation method, whether that means a flat salary, an hourly rate, or per meeting, per inspection fees. And then it goes on to talk about flat salary versus other salaries, for fee per service. As I stated before, this will get really, really tricky because, once again, Article 11, Section 3 of our state constitution, and they note this in here for me especially, is if a township sets a flat rate salary, they still must abide by specific state laws and regulations governing municipal employment and the duties tied to that role. The extra compensation clause in our Constitution that townships are legally prohibited from paying extra compensations after services have been rendered. It is also illegal to pay township employers officials in advance. And then we go on to what he's talking about, an exemption. So the FLSA offers what's called an administrative exemption. And if someone is classified, by the way, in one of our township focus pamphlets, we'll say, I found a 10-page article on this. I won't bore you with that right now, how to classify them. There are certain guidelines that must be put in place to make sure they are, as such, exempt. So a Michigan Township zoning or administrator can be FLSA exempt, but only if the specific role passes 3 strict federal tests, which dictate the state: the salary basis test, the salary threshold test, and the duties test. And here's what they are. The salary basis test is the employee must receive a predetermined fixed salary that does not fluctuate based on the quality or quantity of work performed. They must receive their full salary for any week in which they perform any work, regardless of the number of days or hours worked. And this is where Robert and I had a discussion. What he's specifically talking about is the salary level threshold test, which states if you are not exempt, the employee must be paid the equivalent of $684 per week for all of his duties, which equates to over $35,000 a year. And if he were to try to seek that, he now gets $160 as a zoning admin under contract in salary every 2 weeks. We're talking to be well over $50,000 for the last 2 years alone, which is the statutory limit he could try to collect. Duties test. Most municipal zoning administrators are evaluated, under the administrative exemption clause. To meet this test, the employee's primary duties must, number 1, consist of office or non-manual work directly related to the management or general business governmental operations of the township, include the exercise of discretion and independent judgment with respect to the matters of significance. And let's face it, he does. He runs the whole zoning admin department. Once again, another question for legal. And they must be able to interpret complex zoning ordinance granting or denying variances and handling zoning compliance. So that's what I know thus far. There's a lot to this. So that's the base of what he's seeking. If he's not exempt, he would like his retroactive pay for all the hours and time he's put in for the last couple of years.
Wait. Is he asking for back pay somewhere? Did I miss that?
No, that is my conversation, that he would have the right to try to ask. Doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. But if he's claiming that, and that's what that means, if he's claiming he does not have administrative exemption status, then he was paid wrong for the last, and this is all legal, I'm just telling you what I've learned thus far, he would be entitled to back pay for services, but only, obviously, I'm just saying only if legal and everyone else is on board this, because the question, is he administratively exempt? And for me, I'm on the fence. I'm not an attorney, but I would find it hard to believe, for all the years they've had zoning admins in this township, including the last board, that they would overlook something so important to say, well, you're only making a few $1,000s a year as zoning admin when the state says you should be making 35. I think I'm not so sure that the Fahey Schultz law firm would have not caught that, but that's me. So there we are.
Well, thank you for that. I think I stayed awake. One thing that I do have a problem, other than what the attorney says,
Sure.
I'm fine with that. I
Yep.
hate it when people say keeping salary or money in line with similar roles, because that got used by township boards when we went through the sewer wars. I deserve the money that is on the higher end of the scale for other townships. Maybe you don't, so
Yeah.
don't throw that at me.
We can determine the wage, though.
Right, but when it's compared to this, I need to be kept up with everybody else.
We just went through this about 9 months ago, and when he demanded something, and then just before the board meeting, he pulled the request. You remember that?
Yes?
Absolutely. Now remember, this has nothing to do with the building side. He is in a dual role. He is also the building inspector. This has absolutely nothing to do with it. He gets
But-
his 90% pay and all the permits, everything else. It is completely a separate entity and should never be confused with the other.
So we could hire technically somebody else if we wanted to do something.
Absolutely. Zoning admins are traditionally not the building inspector because of a possible conflict of interest within a township, because they get to approve everything they're writing permits for. So,
Very good.
Okay, so now that we've shared that,
but once again, it's worth looking into. We must look into
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
No question.
does anybody have a problem with moving this on to
Nope.
possibly the board meeting based on we get an answer from our attorney?
Legal is crucial. I'm with you.
We're not gonna do anything till we have.
No.
So-
No, but I'm saying I
Absolutely.
could put it on the agenda, assuming we will have an answer from the attorney by then.
Sure.
Okay, I can do that. Take a brief moment here. Mr. Pern and I both signed this for the road commission. Would you guys whip a signature for witness on there? We'll be done with it.
Sure.
Thank you for that. All right, next.
7C,
7C is, whoops.
raise for JC.
Again, as an addition, I only have the language of a raise for JC as maintenance supervisor. This is coming from Mr. Hops, so have at it.
So we gave him a raise when we first took office, so that's almost 2 years ago. We were supposed to look at him a year later, we didn't. So he's been doing a good job maintenance wise as far as I'm concerned, so I would like to suggest $1 an hour raise for him, which would put him at $19.50.
Do you want to make it a motion so we're talking, or?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, then we would have a motion to increase the salary by $1 an hour. Starting first of next month, something like that?
Yeah. July 1st, we'll go.
First of July. Okay, so make a motion that we increase the salary by $1 an hour to be implemented 1st of July. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Discuss.
Okay. So that opens it up for discussion. I have, my outlook on this is a little bit different. As far as the maintenance department, Mr. Hops has recently taken over, primarily because the board didn't support that if I do it, I didn't want to be undermined or have anybody else when I was trying to make some changes, and that's all fine. But in the past, where I was really going was, we have a focus here, and there's nothing wrong with this. Make it look better, so things get clean, the asphalt gets put down, paint the building, I get all of that. My focus for maintenance is, because I was a maintenance guy, is always the motors, the engines, that stuff. And that's where I had problems before. My thoughts, I don't particularly want to give them a raise now. My intention had always been to see where this lands now and how the work on that stuff progresses, and discuss giving them a raise in the fall. But that's just me. But my reasons are different, because I was not happy with what was going on in preventive maintenance or in the emergency equipment or nothing. Now I'm not part of it. So Mr. Hops and I have talked. I said I want no part of it. I want no part of me trying to push it and have somebody else say, don't do that. And that's all true. But as far as the money, I want to see more before I consider more money.
You were just ready to give somebody a $2,000 bonus.
Yeah, for work that he did last year.
We
that I
gave
did
him
see.
$2 last.
You're correct. You
meeting.
know who worked with the maintenance crew last year more than anybody else in this building?
Who?
Me,
Oh,
physically.
okay.
With Richard, with JC, physically. I know what he did. That's why I suggested it. I know what I saw. I'm not convinced to give somebody a raise for that yet.
Did you ever think maybe things didn't get done for other reasons?
No, because I was a maintenance man and I know what it takes to take care of emergency equipment. And I know what it takes to take care of stuff so that it doesn't wear out. Again, this is yours now and that's fine.
Yeah, so
But
you
when
have no
equipment
clue what's
wears
going on.
out because of a lack of maintenance, that's what I was addressing. If you ignore shit and you just fix it when it breaks, that's what I was trying to change. I'm no longer in that business.
Right.
But I'm not
You're
gonna,
not.
I'm not gonna support a raise.
Then don't, vote no.
No, that's why I'm giving my opinion, just like we do.
I'd like to chime in.
If we disagree, that's
We
fine.
do
Doesn't mean I
disagree.
can't say it.
Green is something different, but I'm saying is the maintenance of the vehicles, the emergency vehicles, not just the trucks, because we try to take care of the trucks and stuff. When they need tires, they get it done. When they get is our mowers and all this stuff being taken care of?
Yes.
How do you know?
Oh my God, you're not involved with maintenance. We just went through
This
this.
isn't-
I am.
Okay, so you
My
know,
God, why?
listen,
No, I'm not gonna listen to you.
okay, well then you can do what you want to do.
That's why
We
there's a
have-
motion on the floor.
Yes, and my comment is, you
Wrong.
proved to me that the batteries are now being charged every month.
You forget,
That
I
the
don't,
equipment operating for emergency equipment is being
I don't
fired
need
up
to
once
prove
a month.
anything to you.
I'm saying, these are things I'd like to see to
Well-
condone a raise.
It's fine.
So you're saying it's
Go
getting
look for
done.
yourself.
I don't see it getting done.
I have a question, if I may chime in. All things being equal, okay, who's in charge of the maintenance department right now?
Mr. Hobbs?
No. Who was
JC.
hired to be head of
JC
it?
is the-
Okay. So, never in my experience, whether I was in East Lansing or when I got involved with board affairs up here, why is a sitting board member basically, as it was just kind of stated, either helping out or in charge of the maintenance department? That's what good management is about. You hire and appoint people and put them in positions. They come and do board reports and we leave them alone unless there's a problem. So if we're going to give a raise to someone who's technically, I guess it sounds like not in charge of the maintenance department because Supervisor Bertrand was heavily involved before and now it's Treasurer Hops, and that's great, then I guess maybe we should give that dollar to Kevin. Because, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Good management is about putting people in positions who can handle their roles and respond appropriately. And then they're entitled to the raise. But if we have to have a board member with all their other duties oversee another department, which is not their statutory duty, I am not for it.
It's guidance.
Well,
Let me
You
back
can't
up.
just let them go loose on their own and.
that's why they report to us every
Okay,
month. They're
let me throw
supposed
some
to.
statutory duty stuff in here. You remember when, as supervisor, there's certainly lots of information out there that says a supervisor, statutory duty-wise, is in charge of the grounds, the upkeep, stuff like that. Okay.
Well, actually,
when?
it says
Just-
overseeing daily operations. It doesn't
Yeah,
say the
daily
grounds.
operations, all of that stuff. You remember when?
Yes.
When I started doing that, and then I said, we got problems here. And then I asked you guys to support me to take over so that I could get a handle on it, and that didn't happen, and that's fine. The statutory duty still comes somewhat back to the supervisor, so I stayed there for a while. But then recently, when the changes that I would want to make, it wasn't happening, and Mr. Hobbs offered to take over by himself, and that's where it is now.
No, that's
So-
not the way it happened.
Okay,
At
but
all.
I'm trying to say to him, the reason that he's there now, that's how we got it.
Then in my opinion, we have to start at the top down, and it is the person in charge of the maintenance should no longer be in that position because part of our township duty is, if your duty for me personally as a supervisor is to oversee daily operations. The maintenance department is not daily operations. your side of it. It is their side of it. And if we don't have a person in that position that could warrant $19, $20, $21 an hour to oversee it, then that person should not be in that position, because you as board members have plenty to do than having to oversee other departments.
Nobody's overseeing them. It's, you got to give them what we as a board want done
Right. We as a board,
and tell them to do it.
not you, not us as a board, should be dictating what gets done, and then the person in charge takes care of it.
Yes.
If they can't take care of it, then they come to us as a board.
They are taking care of it, but they still need to know what we want them to do.
I've never heard anything. No one's asked me about a vote on what the maintenance department should do ever. Ever.
The Parks and Rec, because so much of it is Parks and Rec,
Sure.
they
I'm just saying, you have enough on your plate already,
No, they
Kevin.
haven't.
Yeah,
They have their meetings, and
but
there's an
he-
ongoing list that gets forwarded to him, and then that gets to the maintenance department. They're already well aware of what else they gotta cut and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway,
All right, I hear your point. Excuse me, got lost there. So any other discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none. So on the motion to approve that JC gets $1 an hour, increase starting on July 1st, could we have a roll call, please, Clerk Pern?
Certainly. Trustee Monet,
no.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Not at this time, no.
can be a no or yes?
No.
Okay. Clerk Pern, yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Treasurer Hobbs,
yes.
Okay, the motion carries 3-2. All right, as they say, what's next?
7D,
Last one.
no?
7, we did Robert,
Kevin,
we did
did you
County,
UA.
JC.
Those are
D,
good.
appointment of Kevin Hops to the Higgins Lake
Oh.
Utility Authority. It keeps coming up HOLUA, it should be HL.
HLUA, yeah.
Okay, where you at on that? You and I differ here too, but that ain't the end of the world.
So our appointments come up in June, that we appoint to their board at the end of June.
Real quick, are we opening this up for a vote and discussion? Because we haven't done that.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
I'm asking, he's got it on the agenda, you want to give some backstory?
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, thank you. Yeah, okay.
so, our appointments for Lyon Township come up on that board the end of June. And I've gone to several of their meetings now. And it's, I don't know, my opinion, it's disgraceful the way that the customers of HLUA are talked to at these meetings. So I would like to be our representative, be put on this board at the end of June. So I'm asking you guys to do that.
have you seen any film of those meetings?
Any film?
Yeah.
No, I go to them.
No, I'm not asking you that. Have you seen, do you know that they're filmed?
Oh, no, they are not filmed.
They're not filmed.
No,
Okay.
they-
The stories that I heard, similar to what you were saying from some other people, is it's chaos. We don't get to talk. We don't get to talk very much.
And there's,
And then there's all kinds of emails.
yeah, I'm sure you guys saw the chain of emails today. So I just think we need to get somebody on there who's reasonable, and, you know, what they're doing is just, in my opinion, it's not right for the residents. So,
So is someone making a motion?
We will know.
Well, not yet. So there is an open position starting when?
end of June,
Two of them.
two of them.
Two are open.
Okay, and that is not the 50/50.
No, but that's open as well. And I would like legal clarification on that position.
Yeah, so which one are you asking?
Right now, it's just gonna be for the board.
Yeah,
To
you
be-
can't do the 50/50 because
Right.
this is only Lion.
Right.
You'd have to get,
I got that, but my contention is the 50/50 is not open, but we'll see. But so you, but what you're interested in
It's
is
just
to
the,
be one of
the
the Lion
lion,
appointments.
yes.
Okay, well then I can make a motion that we approve Kevin Hops to be one of the Lyon Township representatives to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority starting July 1st. Is that when it's open?
Yeah, July 1st. Swear.
I'll
Swearing
second.
in.
I'll
Starting July 1st. Let me write this down
Yep.
correctly. One of the Lion reps. Now,
Just for further discussion,
were you seconding?
I already seconded.
oh, did you?
I
Okay.
didn't hear it,
Okay.
sorry.
uh,
Discuss.
so which position?
There's two board,
Right, but you got to select one and the other person remains until appointed or replaced, reappointed or.
well, we're hoping to replace another one.
Talk about tomorrow, right?
If we're going to approve this, somebody's got to go, so who is it?
So put, Tammy Gage.
And there is a term, and legally that should be stated, you know the length
2
of the
years.
term. 2 years.
2 years.
For the sake of discussion, who's the other person?
Marcia, I don't know her last name.
Well,
Wilson. Damn,
Okay, I know nothing of the difference between the two. You have been going to these meetings.
they're just
Is
board,
there- is there
they're
reason-
board members. That's,
No, is there a reason you're selecting Tammy Gage?
no,
first?
could be either one.
Well,
Isn't
you-
she the lady from Clip and Curl? I
Yes.
believe, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I've never really met her, but.
and just for, on a side note, and I read their articles of incorporation, we're supposed to be getting quarterly updates, budgets before they're passed, and we haven't gotten anything. So I sent an email to them saying, we need our information as the township. And
Is there any chance Brian was sending it to me and not everybody?
I don't know why he would do that. I mean, he's supposed to send it to the board.
When they send something out, advertising a meeting, I put it on our board outside, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what the story was. Doesn't have to go on our website, doesn't have to go on a Facebook, but it does have to go on that board. So that's where it's going.
And do we know, has it ever been
Something.
passed anywhere in the past that they should come I don't know, once a year and just give a report? I mean, I've never met either one of them.
I've asked them, I said, every meeting is held at Beaver Creek. Why not Lyon Township? And then I got a lame excuse about a key. So I said, no, you'll have access to it. It's fine. So I want to do them every other meeting. Lyon Township is 95% of that HLUA.
But will you have time with all your maintenance duties?
Yeah. Jeez. I might have to,
I'm sorry. I guess I had to break the mood a
relinquish
little bit.
some of those,
Sorry.
but
Well, okay, when we went through this before, the attorney said that we should be getting reports from our 2 Lion reps and our 50/50.
we
I don't
have
know
got
that any of
nothing,
that-
0.
Okay, I
Yeah.
will say that I've had conversations with Tammy Gage, and she left me with the impression that she was very happy that Lyon Township was getting involved in this stuff before, and appreciated everything we were saying.
Well, nothing changed, so I'll just say that.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're gonna pick one of these people to remove, I know nothing about Marcia, other than she was at that meeting. I do know Tammy. Is there a huge problem with replacing Marcia first? Or
No,
there may be more to Tammy than we know yet. Marcia, I
Did
don't
you
know
not
at
have
all.
another person in mind?
yeah, there's somebody thinking about it, and I said, hurry up and think, because we got
Right
a few
up to
weeks.
We have a meeting next week?
I told them They have to be by next week.
All right, oh, that's even more complicated. Any other discussion from the board? Because to my knowledge, we don't need to notify these people.
Oh, I think Kevin's already into that.
Right, part of me says they should maybe have a chance, not, okay, I can live with it this way. So
I would
any
just
other?
say, yeah, I would just say for the record that if we're going to push forward with the motion, that we make sure the language is- that it states the, Kevin's name, of course, the replacement of whatever member it is, in the term, yada, 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 to make sure it's all.
Okay, I'll make the motion as far as the replacement. Part of me says we should ask Tammy Gage where she's at, but maybe that's not going to happen. So I'll make a motion that Kevin Hops be, that the board approve Kevin Hops being the replacement for Marcia, you got a last name?
Wilson.
Wilson. On the Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board, starting July 1st for a 2-year, or for a period of 2 years. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion from the board?
Well, I just like to say, this isn't set in stone, just